Hey guys, I'm on here for 5 minutes just to give you this, and then most of you, of course, will catch the replay. Well, yeah, the majority of you will catch the replay. Forgive me, I am in my gown, but I think it's non-sexy, so I should be good. But I wanted to share this with you guys. I'm up right now with a hungry headache. I got to get up and eat because I'm working overnight tonight as usual. But I was sitting here thinking about all of the work. Hey, beautiful, how are you? I was sitting here thinking about all of the work. Like my work week is extremely busy. Um, this week, I found myself last week, this week, I found myself under a lot of pressure because of the amount of work that I have to do. And I've been here. I'm pretty much in this position a lot. Where I'm always looking at, oh, I got to do this, and on top of that, of all I have to do, I have a lot of customers that are calling and saying, hey, I want to make some changes to this, and I want to make some changes to that, but I wouldn't trade this for the world. I wouldn't trade this for the world. It while it can that pressure is, I think a lot of times with pressure, we don't necessarily like pressure. Pressure is good because one of the things that it does is it allows you to manifest your potential. And so one of the things, thank you. Um, One of the things I wanted to just encourage you guys to do. Yeah, I do. I'm gonna take one soon. God willing, I'm gonna take one soon. But I got some projects that I want to finish up on, some customer projects and some personal projects that I want to finish up on. Once I do that, guys, come God willing, y'all listen, y'all pray for me. Come God willing, come August for my birthday. Hopefully, that's what I'll do for my birthday. That's something that I would absolutely love to do. I would love to just break away from everything and maybe go down to Florida for a few days and just really cut loose, um, go down to Florida. So anyhow, what I wanted to talk to you guys about real quick, because like I said, I'm not going to be on here no more than about 10 minutes. If, if anything, I'll be on here 30 minutes and I'm not planning to do that. Um, what I was sitting here thinking about, yeah, I got to have a doggy hotel because Mr. Man, I don't trust too many people with him. That's the crazy part. I don't trust too many people with him. I'm always worried about him, and that's been my prayer is that God will, partner me up with, or bring me around some people that like somebody who loves dogs, and somebody that I can trust to come into my house, and or I can send Milo over to their house. That's the hard part because a lot of times with Milo's personality is really weird. Um, Milo has his personality. He's very, 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 very calm. He's a sweet, he's a gentle dog. He's really he's a really kind. I mean, he's just really kind dog. And a lot of times he's playful too. But that attracts for him, he tends to attract the type of dog that I don't necessarily like around him, and those are dominant dogs. They typically come, and the first thing they start doing is trying to submit him. And Milo is the type of dog where he's not trying to submit. He wants to play, he wants to, have fun with you, but and that typically ends up in a fight, which is the reason I don't take him to dog parks anymore. But I'll typically take him out in the backyard or something like that, or I'll find a friend who has a dog that's friendly. But I don't take him to dog parks for that very reason. So anyhow, what I wanted to share with you guys, just a reminder, a story I shared with y'all before. Um, I wanted to reiterate that story. I'm sitting here working, and I'm about to go back to work because, like I said, I'm going to be working overnight. But I'm sitting here working, and I started thinking about where I started off. Thank you. Awesome, awesome. Yes. For those of you who just ordered microscopiology, I didn't send it today. I'm going to send it tomorrow. I had to go to the brake shop today because my brakes started scrubbing and making a sound. And I learned from experience that you don't drive on that because a lot of times we'll put that stuff off and then it'll get all the way down up into your axles and stuff, and it gets really expensive. So I ended up going there today instead. But I have the books. I'm going to ship them off tomorrow. So I'll keep you guys posted on that. But I definitely will ship them off tomorrow. So I'm excited about that. And it takes about a week from what I've been seeing. I've been getting everybody, sending me emails. And thank you to those of you who have gotten your books already and you're doing videos. Y'all got me excited. Y'all, let me tell you something. Any author, we all want to see video. Videos, the pictures of you taking with the book, what have you, and a lot of you are tagging me in it. And I'm saving them to my little micro story or what have you, or my Instagram story. I found a way to save them to my phone so I can upload them to, yeah, it's been exciting. So, yes, awesome. Yes, she will love it or he'll love it. All right, so this is what I was thinking about. I know I'm kind of putting it off. This is what I was thinking about. I was sitting there thinking about how I started off in writing. And it started off as a problem. My ex and myself, no, not take that back. It didn't start off like that. I was writing in high school. But one of the things I did, and some of you guys do, I actually hid my gifts. I used to hide my gifts. I didn't let people see my gifts too much because of where I'm from and where I was from. And like a lot of times if you let your gifts be known, I was surrounded by sharks that would just take advantage of them, what have you. So I remember being in high school and I really didn't show my writing gift too much unless we had a competition, and then I would show it off. I showed it off in elementary, but in high school I didn't show it off too much. I did good on my literature assignments, my papers and stuff like that. But when it came to going out there and just really writing, go and delving deep into topics, I didn't do that too much. I hid my gifts. And what ended up happening was, once I got saved, actually before I got saved, I started kind of utilizing those gifts a little bit more. But long story short, I ended up writing it did start with a problem. Y'all forgive me, I'm kind of all over the place because when I tell y'all I'm hungry and I got to get back to work, thank you for everybody who's liked this video. Thank you. But what ended up happening was my ex and myself, we were at my mother's house. We had just came back from Germany. So I did already start writing because when I was in Germany, I was writing for Examiner. But long story short, we were at my mother's house, and I've shared this story with you guys before, but I want to reiterate it for those of you who have gifts and talents, and yet and still you sitting here and you're talking about, you need money, you need this, you need that, and you're sitting here. God said your gifts will make room for you and bring you before great men. When I was living in my mom's house, I remember we had moved from Germany. My ex didn't have any money, or at least he claimed he didn't have any money. He didn't have any money. I didn't have any money. Well, I came back from Germany with about $1,000, and of course that went pretty fast. And long story short, what ended up happening was we ended up moving in with my mother, and we were going to stay with my mother from February all the way till, it was supposed to be to April, but I think it ended up being to June. It was supposed to be to April. I think we ended up moving in with her in March, but we were going to stay there till June because his job wasn't starting. The program he was in wasn't starting till June. They were first going to start in April, and they pushed it back in June, and they were providing us with an apartment down in St. Petersburg, Florida. So long story short, we didn't have any money. I felt bad and he felt bad. Neither one of us, we just came back from Germany, so we didn't have a job. My brother and my sister were living in the house with my mom as well. So my mom was the only person there working. My mom had a live-in boyfriend, but she was the only one there working. So that was my mom's live-in boyfriend, my brother, my sister, myself, and the man I was married to. 5 people she was trying to support. 5 people she was trying to support. And man, when I tell you, it made me feel like crap because I've been working since I was 17 years old. I don't like relying on people. I don't like depending on people. And, especially my mom or what have you. Her boyfriend was pretty much unemployed. He worked at a church as security, but that was like 1 or 2 days a week. He was making less than like $100 a week. So long story short, my ex and I, we both started talking about that, how we felt bad about having to rely on my mom. And I remember the refrigerator being just really, really empty. My mom was working 2 jobs, and the refrigerator was empty. We sitting up there trying to figure out what to eat, and I'm like, look, we can't do this. We can't just be sitting around like this. So long story short, I decided to tap into a gift. And that's my writing gift. I decided to utilize that writing gift. I was already doing websites, but I wasn't getting that many orders. Um, so I went on to Craigslist, and I happened to come across this guy who said, "Hey, I'll pay anybody $4 for every, I think it was like a 250 word or 500 word article. I'm pretty sure it's 500 word articles for eHow." And he was like, and what have you. So I contacted him. He asked me to send him a sample. I wrote a couple of things. I sent it to him. And he was like, okay, that's good. Yeah, I definitely be interested. So he basically hired me on. And the guy, I said, so what do you want me to write on? First, he gave me a few. Craigslist is okay. You just have to be smart about it. You got to be wise and prayerful. But he gave me a list of things to write about starting off. But then after that, he was like, write about whatever you want to write about. And I said, so what's my cap? I think I shared this recently with you guys again. I said, what's my cap? He was like, you don't have one. I said, so I can write about anything. And he was like, write about anything as long as a how-to article, because he was uploading them to eHow and making money off of those articles. I said, okay. And I tell you, like I said, $4 article, I made like over $300 in a week. I was writing that much. I kept writing until he put a cap on me. I'm going to tell you, one of the greatest feelings that I had in the world was getting that. The first payment I got from him was like $100 and something. I remember. I think it was like $150. I remember that was a great feeling for me to go to the grocery store and to fill that basket up with food and to bring it home and stock the refrigerator. That was such a great feeling for me. And then when I got that payment for over $300, that was an even better feeling for me, to go to the store and to just buy up, all this stuff that I knew my mom would like, and, stock the refrigerator up. I stocked it up with foods that we can cook, because my siblings are junk food heads. Meaning if you put anything junk, like junk food in the refrigerator, they gonna eat it up. It's not gonna last, not even a few days. Especially my brother, he would go up in there. He just eat just because it's there. He don't eat because he's hungry. My brother had this little competitive thing where he would eat something just to make sure nobody else ate it. Or he would take it out and put it up in his room or something like that. So long story short, I filled that refrigerator up, and that was that. So this is the point I wanted to make to you guys. Many of you have talents and gifts that you're hiding. You've hidden them so well that you've hidden them from yourself. You've hidden those gifts so well that you've hidden it from yourself. Your gift is where your money's going to come in at. That's what God is trying to get money to you. You're too busy trying to wait on some man to come along, or, hoping that you're going to chance upon a good job or what have you. You don't ever want to be a slave. Y'all, I'm talking to some of y'all. Some of y'all can hear me. Some of you can't. You don't ever want to be a slave to a job. A lot of people find themselves a slave to, working for other people, and they're now unemployed because of coronavirus and the stuff that's happening in our nation, racism and stuff like that, the protests and all that. These people are unemployed because of that. Let me tell you what provoked me. And then I'm going to get ready to get off here, because I really want you guys to capture, I really want you guys, you're up late. I don't want you just sitting up scrolling on TikTok. I know TikTok is addictive. I downloaded it to my phone, and I'm like, you know what? I'm going to have to probably delete this thing from my phone, because it's I don't TikTok myself, but I just be scrolling through videos, and you can get caught up in there real quick and easy. But when it comes to your gifts, God gave them to you so that you can tap into heaven. He gave you those gifts so that yeah. I am a late night person. But he gave you those gifts so that you can tap into heaven, that he can open up the windows for you and pour out a blessing that you don't have room enough to receive. But if you're not using your gifts, then your gift is not available, or you're not utilizing it to make room for you. And therefore you end up struggling or having to rely on somebody else. And when you have to rely on another person, that's called slavery. When you're having to rely on a job, that's called slavery. Because if I'm working for somebody and that person decides they don't like me, and I'm telling you, I've been there before. And that person decides they don't like me, or there's something about me, or they hire somebody that don't like me, my job immediately goes under risk. I've had customers that, they weren't the best customers, but my company didn't go under risk because the customer decided I don't know if I like her or what have you. That customer can go away and God will send somebody else. That customer can go, and I remember I had a girl that just treated me like crap. I don't even understand what was the purpose of her hiring me, but she hired me and started treating me like a piece of crap. And she would send me the most condescending emails. And when I got the emails, I would turn around and call her. And I'd be like, okay, so what's this email? And she'd be like, I'm sorry. That girl, she hired me to publish her book. That girl was, when I tell you she was straight up bound, she was bound. Listen, I didn't have to deal with it, and I didn't deal with it. I didn't have to deal with it. I was like, okay, where he go? I haven't even started with you yet. Go ahead, go about your business. She went on her merry way. I don't have to take the abuse from people. I don't have to take abuse from people. Now, one of the things I shared with you guys before, and I want to share it with you again, sometimes God will allow a problem to provoke your gift. And what God did with me was the problem that provoked me, and I've shared this before, was when I was going through a divorce the first time. We weren't going through a divorce yet. We were in the process of breaking up. You have those breakup conversations when y'all on the phone arguing or what have you. And we were on the phone going off on each other, having an argument or what have you. And I don't think I was saying much of anything. I was letting him talk. And he said to me, he told me I was going to lose my house, my car, and everything. And he said, because I'm not paying for nothing. He was a breadwinner. And he was like, I'm not paying for nothing. And I remember in that moment, I had been brought up, like most of you to my sisters, I had been brought up to rely on a man. My mom had brought me up like that. I came from Mississippi. That's the norm. I had been brought up, hey, go get you a job, go do this. But at the same time, your man need to make the most money. You need to rely on him and all that other stuff. So I was relying on him. I had a job, but he was the main breadwinner. We went and got a big house and all that based on his income. So he set up and he said, I'm not paying for nothing. He said, I'm not paying for the house. I'm not paying for the car. I'm not paying for nothing. And all of this was on the heels of us breaking up, because it was a female involved. And it was basically, and I like to call an ultimatum what it is. An ultimatum, basically, if you have to strain an ultimatum down to what it really is. And the ultimatum was basically, it boiled down to this: either you tolerate me and my other girl and let me have a side chick and let me be like I want to be. Otherwise, I'm not paying your bills. That you ain't gonna have no house, you ain't gonna have no car, you ain't gonna have this. I chose my peace. So I was like, yeah, nah, you go ahead, y'all gonna be together, what have you. That's neither here nor there. But I chose my peace. And I went ahead, and I could have kept that house if I had just really thought about it, but I didn't put that much pressure into keeping that house. But I tell that story because that's the story that woke me up. That's the story that woke me up. And I sat back and I said, I never forget while listening. I remember that day because I remember the dialogue I had going on, or the monologue I had going on in my head. The two words that came up in my head when I was listening to him was never again. I remember those two words specifically, never again. What was I saying? I was saying I would never again put my reliance on a human being. I would never again rely on a human, on some guy. I don't care if I meet a man and he makes $750 million or what have you. Listen, and he's sitting up here and he's like, baby, you have anything you want. Yeah, let me start some businesses. Or what have you. It's not a distrust thing. It's just a wise thing. I'm gonna start some business. I'm gonna make some money myself over here, and that's just wisdom. Because if something happens to him, I wouldn't want, for example, if we had children in the equation, I wouldn't want where I'm having to explain to them why we got to move out of our house or why we got to do this because mommy never went out there and realized her own potential. But instead, mommy tried to smack it up, and mama thought she was gonna throw it around the bedroom, and that was gonna pay her rent. That's prostitution to my sisters. I got to get you guys to understand that. You got to stop. I'm going to say this, and I'm going to break some generational curses when I say that, and I'm going to anger some people when I say this, but I don't care. You got to stop relying on the government. You got to stop relying on this government. That's slavery. It's bondage. You got to stop relying on the government. You got to stop relying on your coochie as well. You got to, y'all listening to this, and I'm going to tell you, a lot of people who are in here right now know that they're guilty of it. Either relying on the government or relying on, their wit, their feminine wiles to secure them in the future. And I'm here to tell you, I have lived long enough to tell you that that doesn't work. It is very rare to come across a woman, especially a black woman, that's going to have some man that's going to come along and snatch you up and put you in a big house just because you're cute. That is one of the that you got a better chance of winning the lottery butt naked. Yeah, you have a better chance of winning the lottery butt naked, standing on your head and singing the national anthem than having some guy come along and put you in a home. You got a better chance of that, because the thing about it is, most of the time, and I share this, and I think I shared this with you guys before, what I used to love when I lived in Mississippi, one of the things I learned, I had white and black friends, and I got a chance to see something, a big dynamic. My white friends who decided to become, housewives, what they did, it was a different culture than in Black America. A lot of times Black women, what we'll do is we'll just go to school and, we'll just sit at home after high school. And then we just go get ourselves some boyfriends and, we just wait. But I had white friends who decided that, they just wanted to be homemakers, but they still went to college. And that really blew my mind. Why are you going to college when you said you wanted to be a homemaker? And they usually took business classes. That was the most common thing that I saw women take, was they would take business classes. They would go to college and take some business classes. And then after that, most of them would meet a man in college, they marry him, and he would be successful dentist or something like that. And then they sit at home and they would use their business degree. They would take the knowledge that they got from their business degree. But a lot of times us as African American women, we don't think like that. We just more so sit around and then we'll conjure up the line. I'm gonna go back to school. I know I'm hitting somebody in the jugular, but I love you. I'm gonna go back to school. But in reality, you waiting on some guy to come over. Yeah, and that's what it does. That's why, a lot of times, I'm gonna tell y'all how not to rely on the government. There is one word called desperation. You have to put yourself in a situation where you're desperate. You have to put yourself in a situation where you can't afford nothing but noodles. You have to put yourself in a situation, you got to have a mentality that, like, you know what? I don't want to rely on anybody. You got it. There's a mentality. It's all about the way that you think. There's a mentality, because one of the things and that's the reason I refuse to go out and get food stamps and food welfare whenever my ex and I had lost our jobs. I said no to it. When he was like, hey, baby, we can go, we'll be getting our unemployment and then we can go out here. I got the unemployment because that was from my job and, we had to pay the rent and stuff. But he was like, we can go out here and get some food stamps. I said no. I'm telling you guys, you got gifts and talents on the inside of you. Your wealth is locked up on the inside of you. It's not in the bedroom. So if you think that you're gonna ride, you're gonna put it on a man real good, and then he gonna give you his paycheck. I don't know if y'all seen these new millennials that are out. I'm 42. I'm 42 years old. Half the time I forget my age, but I'm 42. A lot of men my age don't necessarily come from women my age. I'm just gonna give you a little insight. I'm gonna grow some of y'all up. For those of you who sitting around and you waiting, most 40-year-old guys don't go for 40-year-old women. You do have some that come for 40-year-old. A lot of times they got their eyes on the late 20s and the women in their 30s. A lot of times they're looking at younger women. If you are sitting around and waiting on some guy and you're just aging, you can easily age yourself out to the point where you're not necessarily going to be at the top of the food chain when it comes to guys. And you can end up finding yourself like 40 years old and you're still having to rely on the government, and or if you're relying on your sex, or you're relying on a relationship, you're on the bottom of the food chain. You know what that means? You're gonna have to lower your standards. That's the equivalent of putting yourself on clearance. That's the equivalent of putting yourself on clearance. When I worked at Walmart, when I worked in retail, that's what they did. If they had something that wasn't selling, they put it on clearance. They had to put it down on clearance because it was taking up space, and they had other things that they wanted to bring in. What we tend to do as women is we lower our standards. That's the equivalent of us putting ourselves on clearance. Whatever a man is not coming. But here's the thing. A woman, on the other hand, who's in her 40s, who has built a career, who is doing what God has designed her to do, who is building businesses and doing stuff like that and writing books, her price actually goes up. I want you to see the dynamic in that. And I'm telling you from experience, from me being around 40-year-olds, her price actually goes up. Her standards actually go up. Most 40-year-old women who have a career, they have high standards, which means that they typically are not going to be in a relationship as fast, but whenever we do settle down, it's usually for life. It's going to be with somebody who knows what he wants. It's going to be with somebody who knows that he wants a solid, God-fearing woman who loves him, who ain't going to be just leaning on him and relying on him. We tend to attract men who know what they want. We don't attract the ones that are just on TikTok making their pecs jump. We don't attack the ones that some of y'all are attracted to with tattoos up here, licking their lips on TikTok, trying to attract everybody. How y'all attracted to them demons? Y'all attracted to demons. I'm going through TikTok, and like I told y'all before, what y'all say ooh to, I say too, because I just be sitting up there, and I'm like, the man look decent in the flesh, but I'm looking at the guy like, I just see pride. I'm gonna see if I can pull up somebody maybe. I see pride. I see filth. I see filthy flesh. Prideful, filthy flesh that thinks it's entitled. Sorry. I'm just.
When are you finally gonna admit that light skins are better than dark skins? Shit,
Okay.
when it actually.
Let me find another way, because I just went to TikTok and I know I'll be scrolling for days. But what half of y'all are looking for, or attracted to, I'm not attracted to. And let's see. Muscular. No, let's type in this. Black man. Tattoos. Let me show y'all what y'all try. Perfecto. How many of you are salivating? I don't find that attractive. That's the crazy part. I don't find this attractive at all. See, what you see is muscles and flesh. I see Leviathan. I see pride. I see arrogance. I see somebody who feels like they're entitled, that feels like, I can go have whatever I want to have. I ain't got to be faithful to no woman because I don't see like y'all see. See, that's where maturity happens. A 40-year-old woman who has not done anything is going to be reliant on guys. Right, ego. Most of the women, a lot of women on here, they're not going to say anything because they know they're attracted to this. If they know they're attracted to this, they trying to look at my search thing because they want to share it on their Facebook and their Instagram. They're attracted to this. I'm not attracted to that. I'm not attracted to that. I'm not saying he's a bad looking guy. He, according to the flesh, he may be decent looking, but I don't see. And maybe because I've been around guys like that in my life, it ain't even pretty. The thing for me is because the heart. I see people by their heart. I see people from the inside out. I don't see them from the outside. I want to be physically attracted to my husband, but I don't. For me, I don't see I don't want somebody who looks appealing to the eyes but has no power. That can't cast out demons. All he can do is lick his lips. That's disgusting. All he can do is lick his lips and use his eyes to mesmerize me. And then at the end of the day, there's nothing else there. He in the bathroom just like everybody else. There's no superpowers. And now I wake up in the middle of the night and see him on TikTok licking his lips and stuff. That's not attractive to me at all. You know what? I'm going to tell you what that's called. It's called maturity. When you mature, that kind of stuff don't turn you on. That kind of stuff. I mean, I see so many immature 40 and 50 and 60-year-olds who will find this and be like, young man. And I'm like, let me see. Let me see here. Why? See, I see bondage. I'm not attracted to bound people. I'm not attracted to somebody who's bound. And I'm not making fun of these guys. They may be amazing people. And this could be past it. I don't know. What I am saying is this. Y'all are attracted to y'all. I'm finna make y'all mad. I'm finna make y'all real mad. This is what y'all wanted? Tupac, somebody calling you a hoe? Somebody calling you a B? And you twerking to it? You know, when you dance to music, you're basically coming into agreement with it. You twerking and dancing to it? You don't hear what they're saying? And you wonder why black women, as African American women, we tend to be rated so low on the spectrum. It's not because we're low, it's because of what we accept. It's slave music, right? It's because of what we accept. We accept ourselves to be called bees and hoes. We twerk. We sit up. Man, we don't even raise our own standards. Then we get mad because our guys go to the women who have higher standards. And not all of them have higher standards, let's be real. But I'm just saying, a lot of times they go to people who have a higher standard than us. So most of the time, the people who complain about interracial relationships are usually women who haven't done anything. Y'all come for me because I love y'all. It's most of the time it's women who haven't done anything with their lives. They're just sitting around waiting on somebody to come and rescue them. And I'm here to tell you that ain't the will of God for you. The Bible calls the husband a help. I mean, the wife a help me. Your husband is supposed to know what he needs help with, and you're supposed to know how to help. If you have not mastered a gift or a talent, what are you gonna do when you get married? Because sexing him up ain't enough, y'all. Y'all, I need the married women to come out here and educate the singles because they still don't believe me on that. Singles still think that we gonna make love all day. No, ma'am. There was a study that says, I think it was 1%, but I hate to believe it's 1%. So I always raise it up to 10%. But that was a study I saw that said 1% of your time in marriage is spent having sex. You spend a majority of your time in marriage standing up or sleeping. The majority of your time is not spent having sex. You don't have sex in marriage that much, guys. I mean, you can have sex every night. But think about this. Okay, let me educate you real quick. There's 24 hours in a day. The average sexual encounter in a marriage is about 20 minutes. 20, 30 minutes. And if you really learn your husband, you learn how to shorten it. I'm going to leave that there. You learn how to shorten it. So if your husband wake you up in the middle of the night and you tired, you know how to make it go a minute. You know what he likes. You know what mood, you know all that. You have a knowledge that most women don't have. That means the majority of your time is not spent having sex. That's a small, minute part of your day. And most of the time, when you get married, guess what? Surprise, surprise, your husband ain't gonna want to have sex every night. He think he do. In the beginning, he does. In any marriage, in the beginning, there's sex every night. You get married after you've been married for a long time, you can kind of be in 3-4 times a week or what have you. But then as you get older, that's gonna even start lessening. I'm trying to help you to understand that if you using your body, it's not going to work. if you're thinking that I'm going to come up here, yeah, don't worry about how people see you, sis. Yeah, just let them think what they think. But I want y'all to hear me on this. I want y'all to hear, don't sit around waiting on somebody to come along and to make your life better. Since you're going to have to get up and go to college. Since you're going to have to write that book that God told you to write, you're going to have to launch that business. And since you're going to have to allow yourself to feel stupid, you're going to have to allow yourself to feel used. You got to feel all of those. I'm telling you, every emotion that you can possibly feel when you're building, you got to allow yourself to feel it all. All of those are pressures that you need. Since you're going to have to go out here and you're going to have to do something with your life. Otherwise, your children are going to have to grow up in poverty or grow up in whatever standard that you raised them in. And they're going to sit up there and they have to watch other kids, have nice houses. And they got to watch other kids have the toys and the things that they want, and they can't have it. If I can't give my kids nothing else, I would love to be able to give them the talents and the gifts that I have. Because I often say, I would have my child by the time they hit 8. You go outside and play, but you're gonna be writing books and stuff like that. I'm gonna put that. You gonna manifest that talent. At 8 years old, my daughter will be an author. At 8 years old, she would sit up there every single day for about a month. I would have her to go in her room, and I would be like, I want you to tell a story. I want you to create a character. Okay, so that's how you feel. Okay, so go write about it. Go write down what you feel right now, and I want you to write down a solution. But I want you to write it in a format where this you create a character, and let's say the character's name is Margaret. So Margaret is having a problem. I want you to write down this problem that you're having. So she goes in her room and she writes, Margaret is tired. She came home from school and her mother wants her to do her homework and she's very tired. The solution, Margaret believes, is that her mother should just let her rest. And I'm going to tell her what's the realistic solution. What happens if she lets her rest? And I will have her to write and write and write, because that's what I'm doing is I'm stretching her mind. I'm stretching her reasoning. And then I turn around and publish it. I turn around and publish it and put it on. By the time my children hit 18 years old, there's no way in the world they'd be sitting around listen. I often joke, God, one of these days he makes me rich. By the time my kids hit 18, they ain't going to be sitting up waiting on me to die so they can get rich. They ain't going to be sitting up talking about some, Mama got this much money and Daddy got this much money. Once they clock out, we'll have no. They be making their own money. So I'm telling you this. What I'm sharing with you guys is so that you can take this and say, yeah, I have been sitting around. And honestly, if you say, I don't know what I've been waiting on, I haven't been going to college, I haven't been going to work, I'm not necessarily relying on the government. Let me go ahead and put language to it. Since you're waiting on a man, you may not realize it, but you're waiting on a man. You may not want to admit it to yourself, but since you're waiting on a man, you're waiting for some guy to come along to make more money than you, or at minimum pair his money up with yours, and that's not a wise thing to do. Let me tell you why, and I'm gonna get ready to get off here because I said I was going to do 30 minutes and maximum. I'm already at 40. Let me tell you why. Most of my friends, especially when I was in the world, most of my friends who were in really, really toxic, bad relationships, they couldn't get out because they relied on a man for money. I remember having a friend who was being abused. Straight up, I'm talking about, there are two types of people who got abused. I was in an abusive marriage, but I didn't realize I was being abused because I fought back. She was the type of person that didn't fight back. She was this real pretty, passive, sweet girl or what have you, and she had this long, flowing, beautiful hair, and her living boyfriend used to drag her by her hair and attack her, and he would physically assault her and all this other stuff. And I remember asking her one day. She showed up at my house in the middle of the night crying. And the funny part was that night, me and her were both going through something similar. She didn't know it. She just popped up in my house. But she showed up in my house, and my ex and I had an argument, and he had left. And it was like 11 or 12. I had the lights off. I was going to bed. I was like, man, forget this. I'm going to bed. I had the lights off, and I was going to bed. And then I heard somebody knocking on the door, and I assumed it was him, that maybe he had lost his keys or something like that. So I went open the door, and I was surprised. Well, of course, I said, who is it? And then when I opened, she said her name. I was surprised to see her standing out there, and crying. And I remember I was about to cut the light on, and she was like, "No, no, no, don't." She said, she was like, "No, don't cut the light on. Don't cut the light on." So we sat in my living room in the dark, and she was telling me about how this guy had attacked her, and I was like, "Why don't you leave?" I was like, "Sis, I'm married to this guy. Why don't you leave?" And she said, "I need the money." She said, "I need the money." She said, if I don't have him there, then where I'm going to go? I'm like, "Well, you go back to your parents." And she was like, "Yeah, that's not really an option for me." So I'm saying that to say to my sisters, a lot of times what you're doing is you're sitting around waiting on some guy to come along and to bless your life, but you can easily end up in a relationship with the wrong person simply because you're relying on somebody. Simply because you're relying on somebody. I know that there are different types of women. I'm not telling you to go out there and you got to be a straight businesswoman, suits and heels and stilettos and long hair and sunglasses and long phone calls with, corporate and all that. I'm not talking about that. But you need to at least be able to provide for yourself and your family without the help of anybody else at minimum. That's what puts you in a position to have a voice or, to even attract a decent guy. That's what puts you in a good position is whenever you are not having to rely on some guy, whenever you can provide for yourself, whenever you can pay your own bills, whenever if the guy leaves, I can still pay my bills. If he leaves, I can still feed my children if I had them. If he leaves, I can still go on vacation or do whatever. That's what makes me, for me, a person. That's what makes me, for a player, somebody who is not solid, it makes me dangerous to him. Most of the guys who are not stable won't come my way. They won't come my way. And even then, I'm gonna say this, and then I gotta get ready to go. Even then, it becomes more dangerous, and I'm being transparent with you. The more independent you are of somebody, the more dangerous it is for you to get in a relationship with the wrong person. Because a dangerous man, oftentimes he becomes dangerous because he knows a woman can live without him. There's two reasons that makes a man kill a woman. One of them is typically the woman allowed, like his abusive ways. He has a Jezebel spirit. The woman allowed his abusive ways. Thank you, Sister Kiki. But the woman tolerated his abusive ways. And I tell people this all the time: a man and a woman can get anybody that you give power over you, they can get addicted to that power. They can become drunk with that power. So if a man hits a woman, for example, and she just curls up in a fetal position, um, and then she stays, and then she complies, he can start getting drunk with that power, meaning he becomes addicted to it. So he becomes addicted to the power that he has over her, and that's the reason why typically relationships like that, the man will come home and out of the blue, they ain't having a fight, he can just he'll start a fight or he'll just strike her out of the blue because he becomes addicted to the power that he has over her. And whenever you're dealing with addiction, it's going to be an escalation because at some point, if you drinking moonshine ain't gonna get you drunk so much anymore. You're gonna have to kind of up it. You're gonna need it to be a little bit more 100 proof. You're gonna need it to be a little bit more potent, and you're gonna find yourself going and doing something else. And that's what happens to a lot of women, is that man, they allowed him to have power over them. They didn't think it was that big of a deal, but his appetite for power kept growing and growing because they kept feeding it. Whatever you feed will grow, whatever you starve will die. They kept feeding that appetite for power, and consequently, eventually one day while he was choking them, it didn't turn him on no more because he's choked her before, he's choked him before, he's beat him before. He needed to take it to the next level. And I hate to even use this term, but some guys, they climaxed on it. They get turned on by that type of stuff. And so she lost her life for that. And another reason that makes a woman put herself in danger is when a woman is making her own money, if she gets with a guy who's dependent. If you're making your own money and you get with a guy who depends on you, that can put you in a position of danger. That can put you in danger only because, or if y'all are okay, like let's say he's making his own money, you're making your own money, but that can put you in a position of danger, especially if he's relying on you, and only because he knows that you're going to do well without him, and that's scary to him. That's scary to him. He knows that you'll do okay without him, and that can scare the crap out of him. It's not that he wants the money, what have you, but for the most part, what makes easy for a man to walk away in most relationships isn't necessarily because men are stronger than women emotionally. It's only because most of the time women are relying on men. And most men know that, okay, if I leave her, I got a window of opportunity to come back. I have a window of opportunity, and if I play my cards right, I can enlarge the size of that window. I can expand the size of that window. So I can have her hanging on for 3 years or 5 years. That'll give me enough time to be over here with this female and figure things out. But if a man ever comes across, and I'm telling you from experience, when a man comes across a confident woman, who's independent of that, and he knows that, you know what, she'll heal. She'll let me go. She'll go off into her own little corner. She'll cry about it. She'll change her phone number, and she gonna heal. That puts her in a dangerous position because he knows that there is no coming back. Once you burn that bridge, once it's all said and done, there is no coming back. There is no coming back. And because of that, it makes it a lot harder for him to leave. This is the reason why God, as he begins to grow you up, he gives you the wisdom, to see, to not even be attracted to, wait a second. He gives you wisdom to not be attracted to this. See, because Hollywood portrays this right here as a hero, romance. No, ma'am, that is not true. You got to test the spirit. If you can look, in a lot of cases, and you can't really say 100% what somebody has, but in a lot of cases, you can kind of see the spirits on a person. That's not the reality that you're going to get with that person. What Hollywood shows you is not what you're going to get with that person. Typically, what you're going to get is you're going to get a prideful, egotistical guy who is self-centered and out there, who feels like he can do better than you. That's what you're going to end up with. That's what you're going to end up with. Now, you may be able to make a few people jealous. You may be able to go online and post pictures of y'all and get a couple of folks to be jealous of you. But is it really worth it? Your happiness and your peace, is it really worth it? It's not. So I'm encouraging you guys, get up and go back to school. If you're relying on the government, I want you to listen. I'm gonna give you some hard instructions. I want you to assess it and look at it and say, can I go without the government? Can I go without it? Attractiveness can be it. Honestly, I don't think it's the downfall. It can be a stronghold. It can become a stronghold if you rely on it. Anything you put any type of reliance on can easily become an idol and a stronghold. A lot of people, their beauty has become their stronghold, just like a lot of people, their unattractiveness has become their stronghold. It becomes their stronghold. A person who's beautiful by the world standards and they get a lot of attention, a lot of times they become reliant on it. I've had friends like that. I've hung around different types of people, and I'm gonna be honest with you guys. I used to love hanging around cocky girls. I really did, because for me, I like to hang around different types of people because I like to see what's going on up in here, their way of reasoning. Because I'm not a person that likes to assume from a distance. I don't like to assume. Thank you, Sister Gab. God bless you. I don't like to assume from a distance. I don't like to assume that you think a certain way from a distance. I've been around women and I've heard some of the cockiest mindsets and beliefs. And, I've had people around, I've been around folks that it was confirmed, just me being around them. They are really how people thought they are, as cocky as the world think they are. They're as entitled as the world thinks they are. But me being around them, I didn't judge them. Instead, what I did was I spoke to them and I let them know, like, I remember my friends, I was the youngest one, but I would ask them, how's that working for you? You fine. You sexy. Brother Gab, God bless you. I'm sorry. I just saw your picture. I kind of glanced over there. I'm used to women. So thank you, brother. God bless you. But you fine, you sexy. And I used to ask my friends, I'm like, you fine, you sexy, but how's that working for you? How's that working for you? Sis, your body count is going up, but your ring finger is still empty. How's that working for you? It's not getting you anywhere. It's not getting you anywhere. Only thing you're doing is you're looking good on some man's arm. It's not working for you, sis. If you really want, and I'm going to tell y'all, some of these women are still back. When I look back, they still back in them old jobs. They still back in jobs that most folks work at in high school. It's not to degrade them, but it's to say y'all, we got to get delivered from this mentality that we going to sit around and wait on somebody. Because like I said, we turn around and we got the nerves to get mad at a lot of black guys because they want to go out there and go to other races. But sis, what are you doing? What are you doing? You got to get up and go do something. Like you got to go to college. Sis, your husband needs to help me. You got to be able to help him with stuff. He needs you to be able to. All right, let's think about this. You meet a man. He's God-fearing, love the Lord, everything you want in a husband. Cast out demons. I'm talking about dude who's walking in straight sound authority. He don't play that. And he loves God and he loves you. He what have you. But you never got disciplined. You never forced yourself to get up and do anything besides go to your job. Even then you complain. And then you come home, you don't even like to clean up your house or cook. Or let's just say you can cook or what have you. Your husband decides that, hey, God's called me to build this and build that. God's called me to build a string of restaurants. And he's called me to do this. And you don't even have the knowledge. Let me show you how much of a stronghold you become. Y'all ready to get mad because I love you enough to take you off. Because I wanna push you out there. You sitting up here, you have no discipline to get up and put some work in. So he's having to sit up late hours by himself trying to build his business. And you got the audacity to get mad if he go try to hire a secretary to help him. Did y'all want that truth? You got the audacity to get mad because he go out there and he finds some female that, she, I don't trust her because she pretty. No, you know what she did? She didn't rely on her beauty. She realized somebody came along and told her what I'm telling y'all. Listen, I know you pretty, girl. I know you sexy. I know men are yelling at you. I know they screaming at you. But don't put too much emphasis on. Don't put too much of your. Don't rely on that. Don't depend on that. Don't put all of your marbles on that because that's gonna get you to the house, but it'll get you to the bedroom. But you know what? It's not gonna take you very far. Don't put too much. So she went out there. She went to college. While y'all was sitting up playing video games and watching movies and scrolling TikTok, she was working her tail off to learn as much as she can. So here you come with your guy and you don't know nothing. All you know how to do is lay down in the bedroom and flip chicken. But she's over there telling him, here's the calculations for this and here's the calculations for that. She got a brain. Most of the time when you meet a man with a brain, he's going to want a woman with a brain. It is true. But you come across a man with a mind, he's going to want a woman with a mind. Look around. It's very rare that you're going to come across a man with a brain and you're going to see him with a dumb woman. Look around. You don't see that. You're going to see him with a builder. If you see a guy, I'm going to put this in the atmosphere. If you see a guy that the mob boss type thing, if you see a guy, okay, it's just as realistic as me not exercising. If I want somebody fit, I'm going to have to get exercise. Most guys who exercise are not going to be attracted to a woman who's not fit. It's not going to be, and I know we like to think, well, he can come walk with me and take me to the gym and he can do that. No. He wants you to be just as disciplined as he is. Just like a man who's in church is not necessarily going to want a woman who's out of church. I mean, you got some people who will violate that, but no man wants to get up on Sunday morning excited to go see the Lord, go spend time with the Lord, and have a woman laying there in the bed talking about some gone and going. Don't nobody want that. The same concept when it comes to a man with a mind. A man with a mind is not necessarily going to want to be with a woman who just wants to lay around, who's not disciplined. And I know you're thinking, well, that, well, he come along and I help him out. All he got to do is show me the ins and outs. You're not disciplined enough. I'm telling y'all, I have mentorship programs. I teach classes. Most of the folks that take them ain't disciplined. My mentorship class now, I thank God for them because they really they doing that thing. These women are disciplined. My last mentorship class, man, I had 40 women. By the time that program was over with, I probably had 5 women left. Most folks ain't disciplined like that. They can't take correction. They can't take being stretched. So you actually think you're going to do that for a man? No, ma'am. You got it in your head that you're going to do it. That's unrealistic. It's the same thing I tell myself when I say, you know what, I'm going to get up and I'm going to do 100 sit-ups a day. It's not realistic. Unless I sit up here and I'm going to have to invest some time and some money into it. It's not realistic. You think that you're going to be able to help your man. No, the fact that you're not disciplined is going to manifest whenever you hit that learning curve. How you respond to a learning curve right now is how you're going to respond to a learning curve when you're married. That's how you're going to respond to it. If your response to a learning curve is to quit, to get frustrated, to get an attitude, that's how you're going to respond when you get married. So if this man is sitting up and he says, babe, you know, I've always had a dream to have a string of restaurants. I've always had, it's always been my fantasy to have, you know, restaurants and stuff like that. And I want to do this and that. And if you're not disciplined, and he says, I really need like a business plan. I need this and I need that. And you sitting up there and you haven't gotten disciplined, when he give you that assignment, you're going to start it off. You ain't going to finish. I'm telling you, you ain't going to finish it. You're going to get mad. You're going to get mad. You're going to be sitting up there, but you're telling me, this is the reason I tell y'all to go serve your pastors. Go serve, get some discipline, get some practice. Go serve at your church. Go get some practice. The reason you won't do it because you're undisciplined. When I say this type of stuff, you sit up there, you're not disciplined. You're gonna be, listen, you'll be sitting up in the house, and the only thing you're gonna be thinking is he up in there working again. Then you're gonna start complaining because he worked too much. You don't start complaining because he up in there building, because he up in there typing, because he up in the middle of the night. And you know what way you're gonna strategize? I'm gonna put on laundry, right? I'm gonna put him to sleep. You're a hindrance. You're a hindrance. You won't even let that man go be great because you're not disciplined. I'm telling you this, sis, manifest that potential. Sometimes I got to hit y'all in the throat and in the eardrum and in the neck. I got to hit you all over the place because I don't want you sitting up relying and ended up married to a narcissist, or because the realistic thing is, I hate to put this out there, but a man who's disciplined is not going to go after a woman who's undisciplined. He's just not going to do it. If I decide that I want my husband to be physically fit, which I have decided I want my husband to, you know, have some discipline or what have you, I'm gonna have to pick up them weights over there. I don't think y'all can see them. I'm gonna have to, and I got the little exercise. I'm gonna have to do that. Whatever you want, you have to become. Somebody write that in the chat room. Whatever it is that you want, you have to become. You gotta first become that for yourself before you can attract it in somebody else. Whatever you want, you have to become. It's unrealistic for you to think that just because you're pretty and you sexy and you got a snatch waist and a big butt, that somebody gonna come along and gonna just bring you up into their house and you're gonna look good on their arm. No, most of the time when you see a relationship like that, it's temporary. The guy is just entertaining a desire at that moment. It's temporary. He's not gonna marry her. He's not gonna be serious about that female. That's the reason why she has to go into the trickery to have his baby. She got to go through everything and just so she can hurry up and have his baby because she know he ain't gonna be there with her. You know what? She come across women and she see women out there manifesting their potential, and she's intimidated by it. That's why she feel like she got to hate on every female that's moving. What's wrong with you? I don't like her. Why? There's something about her. You're mad because she's doing something. She's actually getting out and putting it. Listen, I want to show you something. This right here. You see how me moving this arm? You see that fat? Don't worry about the fat. But you see how I'm moving this? See me blinking? All of this is called power. My ability to move is called power. I'm using my power to manifest the will of God. My ability to move. I'm not using my power to find another wig. I'm not using my power to say, I'm going to give me a book on Kama Sutra, so I can learn all them different positions. So when I do get married, or whenever I do get a guy coming in my life, I can put him out 1, 2, 3, ding, ding, ding. You're out, and he's out like the count, and I'm up in there. Girl, all you gotta do, no, ma'am. I'm gonna put it to y'all. Do y'all know? Y'all ready? As much as you learn, there's a female out there that knows way more than you. As much as you go out there and learn sexually, I don't care if you go get yourself, I don't care what you do. I don't care if you learn the ancient Chinese secrets of sex. I don't care if you learn you find pleasure points on a guy that most folks don't know about. Sis, there's going to be somebody that's going to come along. If you learn how to touch his neck and make him get aroused, there's going to be another female that know how to come touch his neck and make him pass out and make him wake up in a pool of his own. There is nothing that you can do that's not already done, or somebody can't do it better. I want to get you delivered from that, because most women are sitting around thinking, well, I remember when I was with such and such, girl, I had this little position I used to do with him, and girl, he used to squeal like a hound dog. It may not work on the next guy. Sis, it may not work on the next guy. What you come in bringing to the relationship that you think is advanced could be elementary, and according to what he's been through with already with a female. He could have had a female that did that to him way better than you, and you over there thinking that you're doing something. You ain't doing nothing, sis. Don't rely on your sex. Don't rely on your face. Don't rely on your body. Don't rely on anything. Put your mind, put your heart to building. Go learn something. Go learn something. Go learn something. Go read. Read some books. Go study. Go out here. Make sure that you become everything that you want in a man. If you want a man that can take care of you, you got to learn to take care of you. See, because I told this to a friend of mine. I say this to women all the time. I said, broke men rarely come after me. And most of the time, if the guy doesn't have anything, once he doesn't stay that way. If he comes after me, that he's usually very motivated. He gets motivated. Just, you know why? Because I'm motivated. So what he's doing is he's trying to keep up with me. He's trying to keep up with me. Then he's going to want to pass me. Whenever I have a guy coming after me that just lazy, that doesn't happen. Lazy guys don't typically come after me. I mean, I'm not going to say it can't happen, but lazy guys don't come after me. I need a man that has self-control. And that means you have to have it. You have to become everything that you want. And I know, like, a lot of times we say self-control, and we talk about self-control meaning don't cheat on me. But self-control encompasses so many other things. So if you can't control this right here, you may end up with a man that can't control that down there. Like if you flip lip, if you get mad and you flipping off at the mouth and you say whatever, then you may end up with somebody who doesn't have self-control. There's these things are on a spectrum. If a lot of times his lack of self-control in the sexual arena, women out there who have have control in the sexual arena, self-control, they end up with men who don't have self-control in that area only because women lack self-control in another area. That's what you want to do. That's what you're supposed to be doing right now as a single. This is what you're supposed to be building on. You're supposed to be building and becoming everything that you want in a man. And to my brothers, become everything that you want in a woman. That's how you attract. Look, this is how you end up having relationships that, like marriages, where y'all are not fighting all the time and y'all are not arguing all the time, is because, let me see, what is this? Oh, thank you, Sister Bianca. Thank you, Sister Bianca. But the reason that you guys are, you see the relationships you see where they're not fighting that much, where they get along, most of the time, and just to put it out there, those relationships are typically the product of two people who are busy. They too busy. They too busy to be fighting. They got stuff to do. They too busy to be fighting. They got too much sense and too much respect for each other. Most relationships where there's a lot of fighting is because one or both people don't have something to do. A lot of times it's the female. Yeah, I don't know. Was he just being weird? Go get on the couch. Get on the couch. I think he might have had a dream. Oh, he hears something outside. He hears something outside. Come here. Come here. Because I see my outside light on. So it's probably a deer or a rabbit outside. Come here. Good baby. Good baby. Sleepy said, you take it but to sleep. But most of the time when you see relationships where a woman is very argumentative, it's only because she don't have anything else to do. She don't have anything else to do. And she has an unrealistic view of life. So a lot of time she has a man, if he tries to work and he works really hard, she's gonna get offended about that. She's gonna get mad because he's working all the time. If he's not working that hard, he's not making that much money. And if he's not making that much money, then she's fighting about the fact that the bills are not being paid. So it's a darn if you do a darn if you don't situation. It doesn't matter what he does. At the end of the day, there's no satisfying her. At the end of the day, there's no way. You know why? Because she has an unrealistic view of life. She thinks that life is supposed. Y'all, this dog. I love this dog, but this dog annoys me when he does it. He's sleepy. He annoys me when he does this. When he just wants to sit here and go to sleep on my leg, it's annoying at times. Cause I'm like, go get your tail on the couch. I know, I love you too. I know. But most of the time, when there's an unrealistic view, and so for her, there's no way of satisfying her because she had this unrealistic view from the time she was single. She had this unrealistic view of marriage, so she had this idea that this man was going to come make her life better and make her life easier. The man came along, and at first it seemed like everything was going good. Everything seemed like it was doing, but then she had to get up and go get a job. She had, she wasn't being taken care of the way she wanted to be taken care of. Then when he did try to work, and I'm gonna tell you something, my mom and dad were a perfect example of this. Baby, Milo, go get on the couch. Go get on the couch. No, come here. Up, up, go. Get on the couch. Go. He gonna go get in his kennel. That's his way of saying I don't approve. But most of the time, now I was giving my mom and my dad. My mom and my dad are a perfect example of this. My dad was a brainiac or is a brainiac. He's somebody that's been, he's really intelligent. If he had done everything he was designed to do, he would be a billionaire. I'm not just saying that, but if he had done everything God designed him to do, my dad would be a billionaire right now. As a matter of fact, his grandma, the one who raised him, was wealthy. His grandma and his granddad, they were relatively wealthy. But if my dad had done everything he was designed to do, my dad would be wealthy. Now, it's his own fault. Let me put that out there. It's not anybody else's fault. It's not my mom's fault. However, my mom was a different type of female. My mom, she went to college, but she didn't finish because she ended up getting pregnant with my brother and all that. But my mom had this unrealistic view. My mom believed that my dad was going to go out here and get a really good job. So my mom's plan was my dad was supposed to get a really good job. She believed that he was going to be the first black president of the United States. That's what she told us. She said, your dad was so smart that I always believed that he was going to do something big, which is the reason why my mom, got with him, because she thought my dad was going to be really successful. He did. Instead, my dad, we end up living in poverty. But my dad was lazy and distracted. The enemy distracted him and still distracts him to this day with females. Hey dad, I love you. If you're watching, please don't kill me. But he a lot of times he was distracted. My mom, her thing was she was relying on my dad. She was thinking that, okay, my dad's going to go out there And only because her dad, she was looking at how her dad was. My granddad was a workaholic. So my granddad, he didn't want my grandmother to work. My granddad went out there, which is my mom's dad. He went out there and he worked his tail off. He worked at a pest control company, if I'm thinking right. No, I don't know what kind of company it was, but he worked at some company. He ended up buying land and building a house from the ground up. He was an alpha male type personality. He provided for his family. Him and my grandma ended up having 7 children. My grandma never had to lift a finger besides around the house. She helped the children with their homework. She cooked. She cleaned. She was a housemaker. So my mom had that expectation when it came to my dad. However, my dad grew up in a different reality. My dad was raised by his grandmother and his grandfather because my dad's mother died when my dad was 4 years old. My dad's mother died. She was 24 when she passed away. He said she passed away from tuberculosis. And his dad was in the streets. So his dad didn't take custody. So her mother and father ended up raising him and the rest of his siblings. And my grandmother was an entrepreneur. My dad's grandmother, she was an entrepreneur. I'm like her, what have you, but she was a workaholic. So her and my granddad, they built businesses. They had 2 businesses, and that's the reason they were wealthy. My dad was accustomed to that. My dad was accustomed to having that female that was up, coming up with the strategies and the ideas and stuff like that. My mom, on the other hand, she was accustomed to she had a different view of how marriage is supposed to be. We end up living in poverty because they had 2 different views. They had 2 different perspectives. My mom went out there and she worked 2 jobs and she was waiting on my dad to get it together. He never did. So he was out there doing his thing and that was that. But anyhow, my dad came in and he every once in a while he would get this big download. He'd come home and he'd have this really amazing idea, something that had never been done before. He come home with this really amazing idea. Now, anytime you start a business or do anything, it's going to cost money. We didn't have any money. So my dad would come home and he have this big, grand, great idea about us, and he'll start trying to work on it, but my mother would discourage him. Not only discourage him, she would get angry. She'd be like, you need to go out there and get a job. You need to go out here. We got kids. We got to feed. We got to do this, that. And so that is to say, they were unequally yoked in many, many, many ways. My dad, he should have got disciplined and he should have grown up and matured, and then he should have married a woman who pushed his potential. And I get what my mama was saying as well, because my dad wasn't bringing any money in. So she was like, you don't have time to be dreaming and coming up with ideas and stuff like that right now. I need you to go out there and get a job. I need you to go out here and do this. I'm saying that to say, I know that sometimes you can come across people that in your mind, you think that they're going to go out here and do great. They're going to go do big, great, and wonderful things because they're smart. And it doesn't always manifest that way. It doesn't always manifest that way. You have to look at what they're doing currently right now. Do they have the discipline right now, or are you waiting on them to be disciplined? If you think you're going to discipline a man, you are sadly mistaken. My mom tried that with my dad, and there was no disciplining him. You can't discipline him. My dad had to discipline himself, and he didn't get that discipline because you know what? He got used to my mom working. He got used to my mom going out here doing all of the work or what have you. So he got used to being around the house a lot of times, and then he'd get a job. He wouldn't stay there very long, and that's a generational curse in his family. So if you want to come out here, and that would have been the best thing for him to do if he had went got a good job and then pursue. But here what happens is a lot of times when people are out of work for a long time, it becomes a stronghold. That's why, I try to tell people to stay away from food stamps and stuff like that as much as you can. If you're out of work for a long time, it becomes a stronghold. It gets to the point where you rely on that, but you can't deal with the pressure. Like, when you have a 9 to 5, there are so many different pressures that you have to deal with, but those pressures make you stronger. Having to deal with the discipline of getting up every day. Having to deal with the discipline of sitting at a job that you want to quit, having to deal with different types of personalities, condescending bosses, the threat of losing your job. All of those things make you stronger. And I've come across a lot of men and women who can't deal with those pressures. They go out there and they get a job and they quit because somebody yelled at them or somebody rolled their eyes at them. They can't deal with pressure. They quit everything. And that's why I said I had this mentorship program, and it blew my mind to see how many women quit because I gave them assignments. They can't deal with pressure. They can't deal with pressure. Like I said, for me, I thank God for the class I have now, because they have really, I'm really proud of them. They just, and I can't say I am doing something different with them as well. But yeah, to see people can't deal with the pressure. Most folks can't deal with the pressure of trying to finish a book. That's pressure. They can't deal with the pressure of launching a business. That's pressure. Because you have to deal with so many learning curves. You have to sit up there. You got to try to figure out, like, I mean, one of the things, like, right now I got to get back to work because I got a lot of work to do. But one of the things I have to do is what people do in business. Business is nothing but people giving you a bunch of problems to solve. That's it. Writing a book is nothing but solving a bunch of problems. Is writing down, spilling it out on how to solve problems, doing research, and using experiences, scriptures, and all that. Is being disciplined. Right. How do you break it? You just have to do it. Honestly, you got to pray it off of you. You have to pray it. You pray it off. You ask God to deliver you from it. But then faith without works is dead. Meaning you have to go get a traditional job, and then you have to deal with the pressure on that job. That's one thing I say that I took from my mother that I'm so grateful to her for because when I look at my dad's gifts, what I got from my dad and what I got from my mother was a perfect combination. My mother was very disciplined with work, very disciplined with work. She worked 2 jobs, and she would be dog tired, and she still got up and went to work. And that used to blow my mind. Like, woman, you've been working 4 and 5 days straight, 2 jobs. You getting like 4 and 5 hours of sleep, if that. And she get up like a zombie and go up in there and get ready. So you have to throw yourself in it, and you have to tell yourself, I'm not going to quit. You need to have an accountability partners. You need to have somebody to talk to whenever you're tempted to quit. And you have to tell yourself, it's all in that inner dialogue that you have with yourself. So like when I got a job, I ended up getting my first job when I was 17 years old. Quitting was not an option. I had my mama in me all the way. That was not an option. I was just working. Y'all see him now, look. Y'all, I'm gonna tell you, I love that dog, but when he gets tired, he is annoying. When he gets sleepy, good God, he's annoying. But you have to learn how to deal with the pressures. That's all you have to do. You have to learn how to deal with the pressures. And whenever you deal with a pressure, you have to tell yourself this is normal. On every job, you have to deal with somebody hating on you. Right. You have to deal with somebody hating on you. You got to deal with competition. You got to deal with jealousy. You got to deal with insecure folks. You got to deal with, man, listen. But if you learn how to deal with all those different pressures, you learn how to overcome this thing that we call life. You learn how to go out here and to excel in this thing called life. And you won't quit when your husband disappoints you. You won't quit. You won't start talking about divorce. Most of the time, divorce, y'all, men are not always the initiator of divorces. It's usually us right here. We keep speaking it. Can we tell the truth? We keep speaking it because we don't know how to deal with the pressure. We keep speaking it into the relationship. Keep it up. That's all right. Yeah, if somebody divorce your tail, we keep speaking it. But then when it starts to manifest, because what you're doing is you're creating insecurity in the guy when you're saying that type of stuff, it creates insecurity. And if he starts feeling insecure, everybody manifests differently when they're insecure. So if he's insecure, he may go out here and decide, well, let me go find me somebody else because I don't know how to be by myself. So now he's cheating on you with the next spare tire because of your mouth, because we keep speaking it. We typically are the ones that speak it. We're the ones that keep saying it because we don't know how to deal with the pressures. But the women, amazingly enough, that deal with pressures well. Some of the women that are the strongest ones, they've dealt with some crazy stuff. Now, there's some women out there in some relationships that I pray no. Where they've gotten dog cheated on or what have you. They got like 27 years. And they ain't going nowhere. He ain't going nowhere. They ain't going nowhere. That's what they do. He put all that pressure on her, what have you. And so that's the type of pressure you don't want to have to get. But that pressure made her strong. While it's the type of pressure none of us want to deal with, that pressure made her strong. And if you get wisdom, knowledge, and understanding, you won't end up attracting that type of guy. But if you don't do that, what's going to end up happening is you'll age out of this system that you are relying on. if you're relying on a system using your beauty, your youth, your body, you're going to age out of that at some point, sis. I'm trying to tell you, I know women like that were straight drop dead gorgeous and they got to 35 and sis, they start aging out of it. They start aging out of it. They start realizing that, hey, when they went to the club, the little 35-year-old guys weren't looking at them. They were looking at the 21-year-olds. They start aging out and they start realizing that your skin starts to sag, different things start happening as you age. And so now they up there trying to figure out, what can I do to I look better. But they try to figure out, what can I do to make myself more attractive to men. And then what they have to do is they have to lower their standards. A lot of them try to act like young girls or what have you, but they start lowering their standards. They start discounting themselves. You come stay with me. Then they let some guy come live up in their house or what have you, and he's sleeping on the couch and relying completely on them, and they just keep aging out of these systems when you can really just go out here and do something for yourself. I know you may not have a college degree. I've never been to college. Surprise! Y'all, surprise! I didn't go to college. You don't have to have a college degree. I encourage everybody to go to college, but you don't have to have a college degree, sis. All you got to do is have a mind. You got to have your mind made up. That's all. Looking like a ripe banana. But that's all you got to do. Have your mind made up. Go learn something. You do hair, go do hair. I was telling that to my sister one time. I was telling that to my mom one time, I remember, before she passed. Because my mom was talking about, trying to figure out ways to make money. I was like, Mom, all these different things. People sit around their house and they'll learn how to braid. Go learn how to braid. And then you have to deal with the pressures of your fingers hurting and standing on your feet for hours at a time. But then at least you're making some money. And then you can turn around and utilize that gift to access another gift. After you've been messing with different textures of hair, maybe you'll come up with a cream for people's hair. You end up rich from that. You see how that works? Or you can come around and you can learn how to do makeup. You can be watching a bunch of videos on makeup. You end up doing makeup for people. Maybe you can go up here and do photography and make a small investment into photography to get. What happens when you age out? You lower your standards, because then you start noticing that most guys that go by the same system that you're relying on, which is the world system of beauty and all that, they're going after younger girls. And so when you age out of the system, you have to lower your standards and discount yourself. Or in a lot of cases, you have to go for an older guy. So you can find yourself 35 years old dating a 55-year-old. Because most 35-year-olds are now out there looking at the 26 and 27-year-old girls or what have you. And so they want the young, and so that's just for that particular system. You end up aging out of that system. And so you're no longer a commodity. You are considered on the lower spectrum. There are different systems. The kingdom system is if you put in your time, your energy, your effort, and you trust God, then you actually grow in the kingdom system, because you become very rare. You become a standard by which somebody to go by. And so when you have men who are in the kingdom system, they're going to be more attracted to the woman who is mature, who's building, who's disciplined. They're not into the little 26-year-old, because they know she's gonna be up there talking about some pop it, boy. They're not interested in her. That the kingdom system is different from the world system, but the majority of people in the church, majority of women are still relying on the kingdom system. On the world system. The world system says I need to be sexy and I need to be fine, I need to be this and I need to be that, but you can age out of that system. And I've seen a lot of women who've aged out of it, and a lot of times they become side chicks. Most of the time when they start aging out of that system, they become side chicks, because they can't get a man, so they try to take one. They start trying to steal one. Guys, when I'm telling you, this is a system. Every last one of you can think of somebody on here who's aged out, who was sexy as heck, was gorgeous, was fine, she thought her beauty was going to open doors for her, and it probably did. Beauty does open doors, but it don't keep them open. You can think about all those women that went into King Xerxes' castle. If you guys know the story of Esther, think about all those women who went into King Xerxes' castle, and they were auditioning for the role of his wife. After, Vashti had disrespected him or what have you, so he started looking for a woman or what have you. So they get all these beautiful virgins, and a lot of them, they've been told they fine their whole life. They've been told they're beautiful their whole life. You imagine those women, they sitting around and they like, I know I'm gonna get him. I know I'm gonna get him. And they got their aunties telling them, and see, what you want to do is you want to lock your legs together so you can grip them real good. Then you want to twist it. They learning all that stuff, and they went. And I'm gonna tell you what happened to these women. A lot of people don't understand how they went in the biblical days. They had to go to King Xerxes' room. Now remember this: King Xerxes was pagan. He was a pagan guy. They went into his room, whenever he called on them. They had to audition. You know what the audition was? Y'all know what they did to audition? He summoned them into the room. If they found any type of favor with the king, he summoned them into the room. Thank you. Nappy Happy got it. They had to go in their room and give up their virginity. They had to go into the king's room and get laid out. And then when they got up, guess where he sent them? Guess what the eunuch had to go take them? To the concubine's quarters. To the concubine's quarters. That's the whole place. Meaning they didn't get the role of a wife. Do you all realize the reality of a concubine? Esther was the king's, she became the king through her wisdom, through her humility. She became the king's wife. She was humble. She didn't rely on her beauty. She asked questions. She asked the eunuch, like, what do I need to take with me? She was using wisdom. All these other women who were fine and sexy, they went up in there, they found out the hard way. And I believe God is still trying to preach to us using that scripture, but a lot of us don't want to get it. But, it was a test to see what he wanted. If this is what I want for a wife, do I want to really want? But he sent for Esther. Esther went in the room with him, and she had to do her thing. But Esther was humble. He ended up putting the crown on Esther's head. Now, Esther became his wife. I want y'all to notice this. Esther became his wife when Mordecai ended up having, found out that Haman was trying to have the Jews killed. He, sent, let her know what was happening and what have you. He told her to go talk to the king. She said, he hasn't sent for me for 30 days. He hadn't sent for me for 30 days. If he wasn't sending for his own wife for 30 days, can you imagine? Do you know half of those concubines? Did you know the reality of most concubines that went into that castle, the king never slept with them? They died virgins. A lot of them, he slept with them one time, and many of them never had children. Did you know what the reality of the concubine? She would stay in the concubine's quarters, and she would have to wait for the king to summon her. And most of the time, yeah. But in the biblical days, it wasn't so much as considered fornication. The reason for that is because they didn't have traditional weddings like we did. Once a man slept with a virgin, he automatically became a wife. So all he had to have was a contract with her father or her father figure. They had to have an agreement, and then once he slept with the woman, she automatically became his wife. So it wasn't necessarily fornication. It wasn't necessarily fornication. It wasn't necessarily fornication. If you study the biblical, like the history of marriage, they didn't have traditional weddings. Traditional weddings didn't start till like the 1800s, 1700s, and the 1800s. What the Bible considers marriage versus what we consider marriage is not one and the same. What the Bible considers marriage is when a man lays with a woman. What made it legal was the father had to give her away, and she had to be a virgin. That was what made it legal. She was a virgin. The father gave her away. The man had to sign a contract with the father. It was a traditional thing. In the 17 and 1800s, then, they started having traditional weddings, but it wasn't really fornication then, because Malachi gave her away. Malachi was her father figure. So Malachi gave her away. So when she went in there, she essentially became his wife. But he determined who was going to serve as the wife, the queen versus the concubine. So he had all these concubines, and do you know the concubines went into the concubines' chambers, and many of them never had children. Many of them, the king forgot their name. He had so many concubines, he didn't remember them. So they had to wait. You imagine, you up in there. I'm just gonna be funny, but I'll answer that in a second. But you up in there, and thankfully, music, they didn't have this type of music. But you up in there listening to the TikTok. You don't stop. You up in there like, man, I just want to be held tonight. I just want somebody to make love. I just want my husband to come get me. But you've been up in there for 5 years. And that man, here comes the eunuch walking up in the concubine's chambers. And you like, he gonna call for me. He gonna call for me. And then the eunuch says, Gloria. And you see Gloria get up again. He constantly called for her. Gloria got 2 kids with the king. There were women back in those days that they never had children. That's what it meant to be a concubine. They never had children with the king. They were locked up in the chambers. It was almost like a prison, a dungeon. They had the best foods. They had all of that stuff. They were taken care of, but they were just surrounded by a bunch of females. That's all they were. And that's what many of you got. That's why all your friends, all your friends, it's just the equivalent of concubine chambers. That's all it is. Because you let somebody split your wig. And now you're surrounding yourself with a bunch of folks who got their wig split. The king would have babies with these folks, and these women were considered irrelevant. The king didn't even remember their name in many cases. He call them into the room. The king just, if the eunuch went up in there and said, he just told me to pick one of y'all. The eunuch come up in there and say, hey, you, come up in there. And the king like, what's your name again? We've been hooking up for like 7 years, king. Tiffany. Okay. That's nice, Tiffany. Then you look at me. Oh yeah, I'm sorry. You open there to give it up, and then once you're done, you gotta walk out the room. The eunuch is gonna take you right back to the concubine's quarters. He gonna take you right back to the concubine's quarters, and you up in that sore. And that's what you want for your life? Is that what you want for your life? Is to be some man's concubine? That's what a lot of women are. They allow themselves to be somebody's concubine. Let me see what this question was. I saw a couple of questions out. Yeah, and a lot of times guys that are doing it, they go after younger girls, they have a pedophilic nature. But older guys, a lot of times for them, the reason they tend to go after younger women is because older women typically have a higher standard, especially if the older woman is working and what have you. She typically has a higher standard. And they don't want to have to reach that standard. So they go to somebody whose standards have not grown up yet. That's all it is. And so they're not required. A younger woman is impressed with the basics. An older woman who has her own is not easily impressed. So you can't come to an older woman and, you pull up in a nice car that doesn't impress an older woman, because it's like you made old car notes and stuff like that on that car. Most of the time when you're older, you're impressed by property. You got some property. Can you take care of me? Can you do this? Can you do that? Can I come into your house and do what I've been doing? Can I build? Can we buy a house together? Can I build, or are you gonna be putting pressure on me, talking about some, maybe the gas station down there high? We need to get some extra income in. Let me see. Let me get to the question. Did rich pagan women have male concubines? No. Women were always considered lower than men. And I don't even want to say lower, but to be subjugated to men. And so a rich woman most of the time had a rich father. A man's wealth mostly went to his sons. It didn't go to his daughters. The only time it went to the daughters is if the daughter wasn't married. If a man, most of the time back in the biblical days, a man would come, and I'm talking about Hebrews, but when you talk about pagan, if she was a queen and stuff like that, but she wasn't going to have multiple. She wasn't going to have multiple. It depends on their belief system. I take that back. It depends on their belief system because we know Cleopatra was out there. But they, rich women, they didn't typically have male concubines. That was frowned upon in just about every culture for a woman to have multiple sex partners. Now they did have some pagan things where they did orgies. They would have orgies. They had these prostitute shrines and stuff like that where they worship their false deities through orgies. Why wasn't it mandatory for men to be virgins as well? The reason is because God speaks to us the way that heaven looks. He speaks to us through the way he set man and woman up. Women are receptors, men are imparters. So every receptor needs an imparter, and every imparter needs a receptor. It's to create a need. But men, when a woman gets married, she's married to become the helpmeet of the man. The woman was created for man, but man was not created for woman. That's biblical. You can find that in the book of Genesis for anybody that tries to get extra feminist on me and be like, ugh! And that's in the book of Genesis. Thank you guys. Make sure you liking this. But man was not created for woman. Woman was created for man. Woman was created to help man out. And so in order for a woman to properly and fully connect to a man the way God designed her to connect, she needed to be a virgin. So the man's, his body parts, when it's almost like a wire. It's like a wire. She's like a cord plug into the wall or what have you. But a man, whenever he has sex with a woman, he doesn't receive from her. I mean, he can get a soul tie from her. He can get a soul tie, but he doesn't receive. But she can receive. Now, it was never God's will. It was never God's plan for men to go out there and have multiple wives. Jesus made that clear whenever we got to the book of Matthew. It was never God's plan for men to have multiple wives, but he did not come against it. He didn't condemn it. It wasn't until Jesus, spoke out against it in the New Testament. But a man was not created for women. I think that's the short of it. Men weren't created for women. Women were created for men. And it's all in our makeup. It's all in our design. We're designed to help. And so in order for us to help, we need or in order for us to really properly connect with a man, we have to become one with him. And that means intimacy. It doesn't mean necessarily sex, but it means intimacy, meaning that my heart has to connect with his in an event called agreement. And so if I love a man, if I truly love a man, I follow God, I can fully connect to him. But if I don't love him, if I'm scattered out there, like if I got soul ties with other guys, then it's difficult, if not impossible, for me to fully love him the way that God designed me to love him, which means that I can't necessarily connect to his future or his purpose because I have other connections going. And so that's the reason why, if that makes sense, is because of the way that we're designed. God didn't design men that way. Men are imparters. Women, if you notice, even in sex, the majority of sex that's going to be had in marriage is the man on top. Missionary position. The majority of sex is him being on top. So it's not that men were created for women, but women were created for men. And so God's not trying to equalize things or make it fair in our own eyes. He did everything for a purpose. And so I'm designed, I'm made, just like you're made, for my husband to help him. That's my purpose. I'm supposed to help. I'm also, and I'm gonna help y'all out for those of you who feel like, well, that just means I'm nothing. No, a woman is wisdom. A woman is a manifestation. She reflects wisdom to her husband. So the way that what God does in his wisdom, God takes wisdom and hides it in women. He hides wisdom in a woman. A man's supposed to cover her. He's supposed to lead her. All throughout the Bible, God refers to wisdom as her. He's trying to speak to guys in it, but he gave man a head position. But in order for men to tap into that position, in order for him to tap into wisdom, he has to humble himself. That means that he has to be able to receive from his wife. A lot of men, whenever they get power, it's hard to receive from somebody when you have power. Because power, when you have knowledge and you have power, it can make you prideful. A man, and that's the reason man's prayers are hindered if he is mishandling his wife or what have you, but that's wisdom. So he stores wisdom in a wife. That's the reason why a lot of times When it comes to businesses and stuff, women, we are typically on the back end. We are the ones coming up with the strategies and the ideas. We are the ones that do, a whole lot. We are the brains behind a lot of that stuff because we're wisdom. But in order for a man to tap into that, and even to cause us to maximize that, he has to humble himself, meaning he has to say, hey, babe, I don't know what I'm doing. Can you help me out with this? Hey, babe, I need this. He has to not use that power that God has given him to, sit back and say, well, you know, I got other female that they'll be happy to have my position. You act like this, what have you? No, he has to use that power. That's called humility. That's humility allows him to tap into the wisdom that God has given. And it also allows him, and I'm just going to kind of just go off on the deep end with this. It also allows him to have a better experience with his wife in every area. There are mysteries to marriage that many of us don't tap into, but most marriages, they don't tap into it because a lot of times people are emotional, they're immature, they're not ready for marriage. A lot of times a woman, when she's immature, it's hard for the husband to trust her enough to humble himself to receive from her because she's too prideful. So it becomes this spilled thing where both of them are kind of knocking each other over. But when you have two mature people who come together, who love the Lord, who honor and respect each other, it creates this atmosphere where God can move because you have two people who are in agreement. You have two people who are in agreement. But if I'm soul tied to 6 and 7 different men, I can't effectively, and it's all in the way that I'm created, I can't effectively tie to my husband because the soul is a mind, will, and emotions. I can't effectively tie to him because I'm kind of portioned out. So it's a whole lot of stuff behind it. Like I would have to do a whole teaching on that. That's why I'm kind of just all over the place with it. But it's a whole teaching behind it. But when it comes to men, men don't have to be virgins or what have you. We are the ones that have our hymens broken. We're the ones that have the babies and all that other stuff. But we are designed to be helpmeets. Let me get back over here. Yeah, you would never, ever, 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 ever want to be somebody's concubine. And women to this day, we still have concubines. They're still, we have women out here. Most of the women, I'm about to say something, but I have to love y'all enough to offend you. If y'all don't mind me offending you, put it in the chat room, say offend me. If you don't mind me offending you, just put it in the chat room. I'm gonna wait till I get 3 people that say offend me, then I'll go and give it to y'all. If I don't forget it by then. You're gonna have to say it fast, offend me. Look at me talking about 15 minutes and all right. Amen, amen. Most of the women who are on public assistance have allowed themselves to become somebody's concubine, which is the reason they're having to rely. What the concubines did in the biblical days, even in Esther's era, they were on a welfare of sorts. So basically, they had babies with the king. They were off in their rooms, and they had to take whatever was given to them. They had to live in whatever place that they was handed to them in exchange for their sex. Most of the women nowadays, a lot of women nowadays, what they do is because we've been trained to become concubines, we never had somebody to raise us to be a wife. And this is what I want to take you guys on a journey. I want to teach you how to be a wife. But a lot of us were trained. We didn't even realize that our parents, our mothers, many of us came, it was generational curses. Our mothers were concubines. They had the mindset of a concubine. So they raised us up to be concubines, meaning they didn't give us the wisdom of a wife. They taught us how, oh, that boy, you got a good job. You better lock and load on that one. Don't you leave that one there? What have you? They taught us how to be concubines. They didn't give us the wisdom, the knowledge, and the understanding needed for us to become wives. Consequently, we went out there, we got in relationships, we found some guy, we played some R. Kelly in the background, we ended up getting pregnant. And then the next thing you know, we ended up relying on the system. And so what we did was we sat back and we started relying on the system for food stamps and welfare, and we were waiting on the next man to come along because the last one dumped us. That's a concubine. That's concubine mentality. That's concubinage. That's concubine mentality. Then the next man came along and we got in a relationship. We thought it was special. We thought he loved us and we loved him and all that other stuff. And then we gave it up again. Then we got pregnant again. And then he was off on the run. And now we have 2 kids and we're still relying on the system. Concubinage is sitting around saying, girl, I can't wait for that stimulus check to come. See, if I can offend you, I can help you. If I can't offend you, I can't help you. If I can offend you, I can help you. If I can offend you, I can pull you out of that. But if I can't offend you, I have to let you stay there mad. Talking some girl, she don't know what she talking about. But anyhow, but girl, he coming over here tonight. That's concubinage. When you allow yourself to be humped without a ring, you are concubine. You're operating, you're thinking as a concubine. One or two. Either a concubine or a harlot. Y'all said I can offend you, so don't nobody get mad and be up there talking about some thumbs down or nothing like that. You said I could offend you. You're operating as a concubine or a harlot. Now, most of the time, a concubine is going to be faithful to this one guy. He can always come back and get her whenever he wants to. Who's outside of your life that can come back in whenever he wants to? A harlot is just out there. It's just whoever can you take care of me? Can you help me with these bills? Can you help me with these kids? Can you help me? And so the man comes in, and all currency is not money. Sometimes currency is I love you. What's your currency? What does a man have to give you, offer you, for you to give it up? What's your currency? What's your currency? See, if you know your worth, you put your value up there where Jesus put it at, meaning he got to go through my Father. He got to love, and he ain't getting no sex until we're married. But if you've never dated with your clothes on, if you don't know how to do that, it's because you have a concubine's mentality or that of a harlot. If you don't know how to be in a relationship, if you get in a relationship and a man does something nice for you and you still feel the need, it is. But you still feel the need. If he does something, like if a man comes along, I'm going to tell y'all this. All right, for my birthday, there's this camera I want. It's $1,200. That's what I'm like, if I don't do nothing else for myself, there's this camera I want because it's excellent. I get to shoot, I can do a Tiffany show, what have you. That's the main thing I want it for. I can take it out in my yard, put it on a tripod, and I can do videos. I can do little short films with it, what have you. It's about $1,200. So, yeah, y'all got too much for my birthday. Y'all can be a blessing and help a sister get that camera. But long story short, that's what I want for my birthday. And I kind of feel like but a lot of women, what they do is, and I kind of think I lost my train of thought. Where was I going with that? I didn't get caught up in my birthday, Lord Jesus. But anyhow, I'll go anywhere. I'll go somewhere else anyhow. A lot of times what women do is a woman will sit up there, she'll get into a relationship, and she wants to believe that it's going to work. She wants to believe that, okay, he's going to love me, he's going to do this, he's going to do that. It's concubinage, because she's not going out there and actualizing her own potential. Concubine mentality, right? Okay, thanks, y'all. But she's not actualizing her own potential. So what she does is, because her mother never showed her how to be a wife, she spends her time primping. And there's nothing wrong with this, because I like to print. But more than I print, I put something. If y'all catch me walking, I be looking busted when I go for my walks. I'm trying to get that together though. But she doesn't put that much in here because she doesn't think that's necessary. She puts more on here. She puts more on her head than she puts in it. She puts more on her head than she does puts in it. So she will go out here and she will date a guy. It's this 1, 2, 3 thing with her. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. She go out here, she'll date a guy. Then we sit at the restaurant and he's talking. He's making a transaction right there in the moment. At that restaurant, he's paying for her food because she don't cost that much. I hate to say that, but it's a transaction. What's your currency? It's not necessarily him buying the food. It's saying what you want to hear. A concubine has a price. He sits back and he says, I love your eyes. Is it your voice, all that. He keeps pressing until he finds that ching ching. He keeps dating her. But she doesn't know how to date with her clothes on. He does something nice for her and she feels like, oh, I gotta give it up. I gotta do something for him because he took me out, and then he knows that if she's difficult, like if she's not like the rest of them, he does something for her that's extraordinary. Like he'll say, "Hey, babe, do me a favor. I have and I'm about to make some brothers mad because I'm putting y'all out there. I love y'all, but I gotta put you out there. But what he does is he'll say like, um, I gotta work at 7 p.m. tomorrow. Say if you don't have a car, he says I gotta go to work at 7 p.m. tomorrow. Well, no, 7 a.m. I had to be over at 7, but I got some documents that need to be shipped off, and I'm not gonna have time. So, baby, can you keep my car? Somebody up there laying right now. You laying next to a guy because he told you to keep his car. He get to stay the night because he said keep my car. Even if he doesn't stay the night, he brings a car to you. Now that's major. He let me drive his car. That means we serious. Like he trusts me serious. Like I'm his wife type serious because he don't care who gonna see him in a car. And a lot of women can't handle that. That was the reason we had to have fathers, and we still need them. Because when it happens, what happens with the female is she then feels like, what can I give him? Like I don't have anything. And the enemy reminds her, well, you got body parts. You can say thank you in another way. Right. And next thing you know, she starts sleeping with him. It's concubinage. It's harlotry and it's concubinage. And so, or concubinage. And what ends up happening is she starts sleeping with him. And they go for months and years like that. They have babies together. They do all that. And she feels like we're building a family. She's convinced that they're building a family. He's not. The evidence that he's not trying to build with you is the fact that he didn't put a ring on your finger first. See, he's saving the crown for Esther. I'm gonna let that settle in because I don't want to move too fast. The ring is the crown. I'm letting it set in for some of y'all. He's saving the crown for Esther. He's saving the crown for Esther. He's sleeping with the concubines, having babies with the concubines. But he's saving the crown for Esther. He's saving the crown. This is the crown. This is the equivalent of the crown. You notice the ring looks a lot like a crown. This is the equivalent of the crown. He's saving the crown for Esther. A lot of those women that went into King Xerxes' room, they went in their virgins and came out pregnant. Some of them didn't come out pregnant. They never saw him again, besides seeing him around. When they went to the meetings or what have you. This is the equivalent. There are women out there, no lie, that have been in relationships with guys for 10 years and had 3 babies with them, 5 babies with them, and they were still concubines. Concubine mentality is to sleep with a man that's not your husband and then turn around and have to rely on the government to help take care of those kids. That's concubine mentality. It's concubine mentality. And the reason that many of us have it, and it's not to say you're a bad person if you've struggled with that, is because nobody ever taught you. Nobody ever taught you how to be a wife. That was my case. Nobody taught me. I had to learn. Nobody ever taught me. So now God is raising up people to come and teach you how to think like a wife, how to reason like a wife, how to pull your panties up and stop thinking using that down there, how to avoid men and actually get rid of men that require that you have sex with them outside of marriage. Yeah, that. He waiting on me. It's funny. He waiting on me. When y'all, once I close out, y'all want to see him get up and come over here. He's waiting on me to say the closing words. But concubine mentality is for you to go lay out here and think, even in church, because you got people that got concubine. Because I don't want you to think that it's different in church. If I meet a church guy and I notice he be up at the altar praying for folks, they be falling out and stuff like that. And me and him, we make love. You're not making love. Love can't be made. You're not making love. You're exercising your perversion. That's all. And everything you exercise grows strong. If I go in here and I exercise my muscles, they're going to get stronger. When you exercise perversion, it gets stronger. So I don't want you to think that me laying it on him is going to make him a better man. It's going to only get stronger. And so if I do marry him, I only made his perversion stronger. And so guess what? Now he's walking around struggling, because if he couldn't be faithful to God and not touch me while we weren't married, he's not going to be faithful to God when we are. He ain't going to be faithful to me. He's not going to do it. You know why? Because it's not in him yet. And I didn't make it a requirement for me. There are some really good looking perverts out there. Some really, really good looking perverts. And you know what? They'll solve one problem. It's like a bootleg mechanic. They typically solve one problem while creating another one. They'll solve the problem of your rejection. They'll solve the problem of you having a man. They'll solve the problem of this or what have you. But they're going to create a whole other one. And a lot of women are okay with that. So some of them, for some of you, you need soul ties broken off of your life because you want a man to solve the problem of your last soul tie. I was only supposed to be on here 15 minutes. Right, solve the attention, but he has commitment issues. I was only supposed to be on here 15 minutes. He solves one problem but creates a whole other one. You don't know how to be single, and you keep going out here and you find somebody and you want somebody to solve the issue of the last soul tie because Tyrone dumped you and he dogs you. And now he all up on social media with another girl, and you can't wait to get on social media with your guy. Man, listen, y'all gonna hear me when I say this. The best revenge you can get on a person that hurt you is for you to grow the heck up and move on. It's for you to die to yourself. It's for you to forgive them. It's for you to become everything that God put on the inside of you, for you to actualize it. That's the worst thing. Ask any man. Ask any man. Ask any man. Worst thing that an ex of his can do is to go out there and be better. And then to turn around. Don't no man want to see his ex, especially somebody that he dogged, to see her with a man happy, driving a nice car. Don't man want to see that. And for you, you're thinking, yeah, that's what I've been seeing. I hear you talking to, but that's what I'm trying to get. You can't connect to that guy. The reason you can't connect to him because you're still so tied to the last guy. That's the reason why you want to get on social media and put you want a picture of you up. Wait, let me give him my half dimple over here. You want a picture of you up with some guy on social media just so your ex can be jealous. And you solve the problem. Verily, you have your reward. Your ex is jealous. Now what? Now what? He felt a twinge of jealousy. Now what? What do you get from that? You ever stop to ask yourself, if he's jealous, what do I get from that? What, he decides to call me? Why would I want somebody to call me just because he's competing with the next man? The only thing he's trying to do is drive that man out of my life. He's a pisser. But the only thing he's trying to do is drive that man out of my life. That's why I tell y'all, grow up. Go build. Go die to yourself. If anything, go serve at your church. Man, go get some discipline. Go get some discipline. Whenever you can sit there and say no sex before marriage, and you draw a boundary around yourself, I cannot wait to release my book on boundaries. Y'all got to be keeping me lifted because, it's like, God, I want to finish that book so bad. I finish and then I end up like, I got to do this and do that. And I just feel like, and then I end up having to do 1,000 other projects outside of myself. And it's like, I just want to, I feel like I want to get a vacation just to finish that book. But when it comes to your husband, or when it comes to a relationship, not your husband, when it comes to a relationship, you want to wait for the man who can wait for you. You want to wait for the man who can wait for you, because if you giving it up, he ain't worth it. If I got to give it up to a guy in order for us to be together, he's not worth it. You know what he's going to do? He's going to be perverted. He's going to be twisted. And 9 times out of 10, if I got to give it up to him, I'm not mature enough for marriage, and then I'm trying to hurt somebody else. I'm probably soul tied to somebody. All of that stuff got to get broken. I'm going to read your comments in a minute. But all that stuff got to be broken. You finna go to that door and request to go outside. But all of that stuff got to be broken, guys. It's got to be broken. Otherwise, you end up being somebody's concubine or somebody's harlot. You end up being somebody's concubine. Typically, the concubine is somebody that's just sitting up there waiting on the king to summon her. So you waiting on your ex-boyfriend to come pop back up in your life 3 years later talking about I saw you on social media. You know how it is, you do a video or a picture on social media and you're like, and then your ex sees and he's like, oh, she actually still kind of cute. Okay. And then he reaches out to you. And now you over there feeling good because you allowed yourself to be somebody's concubine. Or you can take yourself off the menu and learn to be a wife. You can take yourself off the menu and learn to be a wife. And I'm reading y'all. I'll get to y'all in a second. But you got to take yourself off the menu until you learn how to be a wife, until you learn to reason like a wife. That's how you break the generational curse of concubinage in your family. That's how you break that generational curse. If you don't, all of this that I'm talking to you, it's just for nothing, because then you go out there getting a relationship and some guy's going to make you a concubine because he got a nice car and he got pretty teeth and he got abs. And you going to mess around and give it up and he going to have you laid out counting sheep. I know what the Bible says. And I know, Sister Tiffany, she be teaching on this, but you don't even understand this one here. This is different. And you'll end up with yourself being this guy's concubine or being his harlot for half of your life. Children who have no father. That's the generational curse of concubinage. Children who have no father figure, just these different boyfriends that you're having to bring in. Nobody ever taught you to be a wife. I'm gonna create a school. I'm gonna do something for you guys real soon. I'm going to create a school because I want you to get the heart and the head of a wife. But if I create a school for this, it's going to probably be a school that I'm going to do for a year. Because I don't think you can learn it in 3 months. Like, I can do this video, but I want to teach you. A year would allow me to break some stuff and to get you, be accountable for a year. And I'm going to tell you, a lot of people, we do this school. I'm going to tell you right now, if I do this school, I can guarantee you 100 of you will sign up for it. 100 of you. Now, I wouldn't do it for free because I believe when it comes to anything like that, if you do anything free, you're going to always have the welfare cheese mentality folks that come in that don't take anything seriously because there was no sacrifice on their part. Sacrifice, when there's a sacrifice on both people's parts, that's what makes it good. But if I did something like that, I would probably charge you guys like $10 a month, $5 a month, or what have you. Yeah, six months of teaching and 6 months of accountability, but I want to teach for 12 months too. But I would want to have 12 months of accountability as well. So it'd be 12 months of teaching and accountability. 12 months of teaching and accountability. I will show y'all in that class. I guarantee you, I would have 100 women to sign up for that class. So I'm going to set that class up next week. I'm going to set it up next week. But I will have 100 women to sign up for that class. I can guarantee you by the time that class ends, we will probably have 25 women left in that class. You know why? 75 of them will meet a man. 75 of them will start feeling like, well, I don't feel like I need to be accountable. Or they'll get offended at something that I said or something I did. And the enemy will come in. They will sit up there and be like, girl, I met this guy. It's like every time, especially those of you who are serial daters. Those of you who don't know how to just stop, you need to stop dating. Y'all, some of y'all need to stop. Like, sis, some of y'all need to stop dating for it. You got to take some time off. You got to take some time off. Some of y'all don't know how to do it. You got to take some time off. I'm going to do this class. You said you haven't had a man to look at you in 3 years. But I'm going to tell you something. You get in this class, you'll have guys looking at you. The enemy is strategic, guys. The enemy is strategic. I'm thinking Because I would want you guys to be straight accountable. And I'm going to tell you right now, at the end of this, a lot of women will have quit because the enemy going to throw a man their way. And the ones who are serial daters, they'll be the worst ones, because those are the ones that come and say, I met somebody. You just met somebody last month. I told you that wasn't right, sis. That wasn't right. That wasn't for you. You just met somebody last month. And they'll come back and be like, well, yeah, I met somebody again, but I think this one is the one. Females like that, they are hard to teach. Women like that, they are hard to teach. Because, you listen, all y'all talking about, right, stop worshiping men. All y'all that's talking about signing up, I'm going to see. I'm going to see. Because we go talking about it. Once you start getting into a relationship, because anybody that knows me knows, when you start talking about you met a man, I'm going to ask you a series of questions. And I ain't going to be excited like you excited. Because see, people come up to me, women come up to me, and they be expecting me to be excited. Babe, I'm not going to be excited with you. I'm not going to be excited with you because I don't know yet. I don't know, should I get excited yet? I don't care if you come tell me you're a pastor. That don't mean nothing to me. I don't care if you come tell me, I met this guy. So he pastors a church and he's single. He has no children. He loves the Lord with his whole heart. That don't mean nothing to me. God said you will know them by their fruit. That doesn't exempt you to have to check their fruit. Some of the folks that got the worst heartbreak are the ones that dated guys who look like, the ones who dated guys who look like, who were angels, who were devils disguising themselves as angels of light. Those are the ones that are straight running you crazy. So I won't get excited with you when you come. So if you say do this class, please understand I'm not going to be excited with you when you come up to me talking about something. So I met a guy. Yeah, I had a friend that met somebody that called himself an apostle. And I was like, sis, because I'm going to look at the fruit. I'm a fruit inspector. I'm not somebody that's going to be looking at the fact that he got a title. I'm not going to be like, girl, I'm so proud of you. I'm so good. No. As soon as you come at me talking about I got a man, all right, I need a whole page report. I need you to fill out your online journal. I need you to be talking about your conversations. I need you to be straight honest, because if you ain't honest with me, I can't help you. If he's trying to lead you into sex, I would tell you, sis, you might want to take a step back. Yeah, we were talking the other day. He was asking me what I got on. You might want to take a step back. See, most women don't want that type of accountability. They're the fruit of the flesh and the fruit of the spirit. The fruit of the spirit is long suffering, which of course is patience, kindness, gentleness, love. What else? Give me a second. Joy, peace, faith, meekness, and temperance. Then there are fruits of the flesh. And this is biblical: adultery, fornication. These are the things that say no. When a man manifests the fruits of the flesh, he's led by his flesh. And that's not what you want. Adultery, fornication, uncleanness, lasciviousness, idolatry, witchcraft. Witchcraft manifests in manipulation. Hatred, variance, emulations. Emulations usually when people are copying. When you see him copying his favorite celebrities and what have you. Wrath, strife, he got beef with somebody. Heresy, seditions, envyings, murders, drunkenness, reveling. Oh, your party guy. He wants to go get crunk. He wants to go, yeah. These are fruits. And so you want to, God said you will know them by their fruit. So he's dealing with the fruit of the flesh versus the fruit of the spirit. But in order to see those fruits, you have to give time and you have to use wisdom, meaning you can't go into sin. You can't put yourself in a position where you're going to sin or that you're tempted to sin. Like one of the things I tell women is pull kissing off the table. I tell them all the time, pull kissing off the table. And most women who have been brought up in a concubine's mindset, it's a scary thing. Well, who's going to want to marry me if I don't kiss him? If I can't have sex with him, oh my gosh. But who's going to want to marry me if I can't kiss him? Your husband. He don't want to marry you. You know why? Because he's not bewitched by your sex. He's not bewitched because you kissed him the right way. He's had to deal with you logically. He has to hear your mind. He has to hear your mind. But somebody who is led by the flesh is going to try to get you in the flesh. That's why God said in Romans 12:1, present your body as a living sacrifice, holy and acceptable to God, which is your reasonable service. That means that, okay, he can't come to my house. If we do this class, y'all gonna have to come. He can't come in my house. You know, you ain't gonna be up in my house talking about, you ain't coming to my house. No, sorry. No. Unless I got some females over here that hold me accountable and they love the Lord and they ain't playing and they got my pastor phone number, they'll call my pastor and say, hey, pastor, she done went in that back room. He ain't coming in my house. I ain't going to his house. You know, and I have to have that crazy female that, hey, well, Tiffany, I'm finna get ready to go. All right, and then she'd be like, I'm finna go. And I'd be like, oh, yeah, you got to go too. Right, boundaries. You got to have boundaries. But I'm not coming in his house. I'm not silly enough to think, okay, let's talk boundaries real quick. By show of hands, we got 75 people logged in. I know only probably 10 of you are going to answer. Some of you guys are lurkers. But by show of hands, how many of you can honestly say that when you kiss a guy, you get turned on? By show of hands, how many of you can say when you kiss a guy, especially if he kisses you the right way, you get aroused, you get turned on? Show of hands. I'll start. Praise God. I love my honest sisters. I love my honest sisters. I love honesty. I love honesty. The enemy knows that we can't, that's something that we can't necessarily handle. We lie to ourselves. Yeah, it depends, but it's usually somebody that if a guy kiss you good, y'all know we have those ones. There are those guys out there. They got a PhD in kissing. They got a PhD in kissing. Thank you for the honesty. They got a PhD in kissing. They got kissable, soft lips. There are some people who got a repellent for lips. They got they skin peeling. Their lips are rough. They don't turn you on at all. Their breath stinky. They mouth tastes like salt. Flashback. Yeah, get out. But thank you guys for the honesty. Thank you for the honesty. If you know that, this is the reason I'm trying to teach you. This is how you learn to become a wife. Oh, smoker. Yeah. No smokers. But this is how you have become a wife. If you know that, you pull kissing off the table. You know that because what's going to happen is the enemy knows that, and he's strategic. So he'll send a guy that is going to kiss you. And I was a pretty decent dancer when I was going to the club. I danced in my school as a dancing doll, all that. When I was going to the club, I used to actually go after the best dancing guy up in there because I was a pretty good dancer. But I went after the good dancers after watching them because I saw that we had rhythm. I saw that I can keep up with them. The same thing, some of you may be really skilled with kissing. And it takes a guy who has his PhD, MD, all that in kissing, who knows how to kiss you the right way. And them panties coming off. You can fight it the first few times. We gonna talk. Y'all know late night discussions. You can fight it for so long. Like you can kiss him for so long, but one day, I think I hit my forehead too hard. But one day, grown man gonna come over there and he'll kiss you. And sis, your brain, everything, before you know it, kissing graduates. So we already know we're not virgins up in here. We born again virgins, thank God, hallelujah. But we know the system is gonna be kissing, then kissing and getting real close. Then there's slight grinding. Then there's a little bit more grinding. Before you know it, You saying the heck with it. That's what kissing does. That's what kissing does. This is the reason y'all want to learn how to be wives. That's why you pull it off the table. There is no sense in me heating up the oven if I'm not going to put anything in it. There's no sense in me heating up the oven. I'm gonna say that again. If I'm not trying to smack it up, flip it, and rub it down, oh no. There's no sense in me getting him aroused or getting myself aroused. There's no sense in that. It makes no sense for me to sit up there and we sit up there and we have a special moment. And the next thing you know, he pulls me and I pull him or what have you. And the next thing you know, we're kissing. For what? If I know that I'm trying to be abstinent or remain abstinent, I've been abstinent for 6 years, head out of whole set. And I want to stay that way until I get married. Why would I turn around and put my mouth on some guy and he put his mouth on me and dude kissed me real good? I'm wrapped in flesh. Now, I already said, I'm not going back. I'm not falling into fornication, but I am realistic. I'm wrapped in flesh. Next thing you know, because this is how we reason. I've been there before. I tried abstinence when I was in the world. I tried it when I was, new in the church. I tried the whole abstinence thing. It didn't work out for me because I was trying to do things in my own strength. This is how it works. You can't come to my house. All right, you can come over. We want to stay in the living room. I'm gonna go up in there and put on me bra and panties that don't match, so to keep me from having sex. I'm gonna expose all your secrets, ladies. I'm gonna go put on that blue bra and I'm gonna tan colored panties that don't look so sexy, just to keep me from having sex. It doesn't work. How many times does that work for you? Has it worked for anybody? Right, granny panties. No, it doesn't work. Because you know what we do? Cut off the lights. Once we realize it, cut off the lights. Or we just grab the panties with our pants. We grab a hold of the panties and the pants at the same time and pull them out so he don't see them. It doesn't work. So the way that we have to utilize wisdom is by not letting him in your house. Pull kissing off the table. Any man who can't handle that is not for you anyhow. James 4:7, submit yourself to God and resist the devil and he will flee from you. He was supposed to run. Sis, I know he in church. I know he said he a man of God, and I know he said, well, I know you seen him. He did a video. And he was like, everybody come in. Hallelujah. Hallelujah. And you thought he was the real deal. And then sis, you turned around and you wouldn't kiss him, you wouldn't have sex with him. And then he stopped answering his calls. And then next thing you know, you text him, he ain't even answering you no more. Sis, that was supposed to drive him away from you. You were supposed to drive him away. You resisted him. He go out here. Next thing you know, he with some other female. And you looking and you like, what's it about her that he with her and not me? She giving it up. That's what's going on with her. So he's still up on the video talking about some everybody come in. Hallelujah. Putting the gospel music on in the background. Hallelujah. She giving it up. And guess what? He has no self-control. None. When she marries him, while you over there jealous, when she marries him, he ain't gonna have no self-control when he get married either. He ain't gonna have no self-control when he get married either. Why you jealous of that? So you pull this right here off the table. Pull it off. Take it off the menu. Take it off the menu. Take it off the menu. If you know that this causes you to stumble, take it off the menu. If you know good and well, because I know if a guy comes and he kiss you and it's like you kissing a fish fresh, a fish in the ocean, and it's just like, and that ain't gonna turn you on, unless you just really twist it. But that he just, you good. But sis, the enemy can use that to distract you. Somebody gonna come around and kiss the crap out of you. Somebody somebody gonna come along and bro man gonna take authority in the kiss. I'm gonna put our secrets out there, y'all, because I love y'all. He gonna take authority in that kiss. Meaning he ain't gonna be all passive. Dude gonna reach behind their neck like that and pull you and go to sis, your panties will be off. Your panties will be somewhere around the house. You'll be walking around the house like, I know I threw them drawers. I don't know where they landed. Your drawers will be gone. If you can't handle this, take it off the table. Take it off the table. It's not an option. It's okay. It's not going to scare the right man away. The right guy's going to be okay with it. The wrong guy, who knows if I can be with a woman I can't kiss her. Now, it doesn't mean that a guy's not going to question. You may meet the right guy and he's like, well, I've never had that before. And he may say, I kind of need to think about that. And then he may decide, hey, I really like you. And I think you're worth it. But the wrong guy, you mean to tell me I'm not having any avenue to tempt you with? I can't come to your house. You ain't coming to my house. I can't kiss on you. And when I call you playing, get up. Let's make love tonight, all in the background. You talk over it and you tell me, hey, cut that off. I'm trying to talk to you. Like, you are ruining all of my bewitching tools. Like, everything I want to use to kind of bring you in, and you're dealing logically, baby, he gonna run like he's supposed to run. See, the problem with some of y'all is that like I said, you were taught to be concubines. Your parents taught you, or your mother and your aunties taught you to hold on to a man. You would never design to hold on to a man. Sis, you will never design. Sis. I was only supposed to do 15 minutes. Sis, you were not designed to hold on to a man. You know what you were designed to do? Drive the wrong man away. I don't care how many tongues he speaks in. Sis, I'm supposed to drive him away. I don't. Y'all gonna get delivered from this mentality that I don't want him to leave. Negro, leave. If I'm dating you and if I'm courting you, I want to drive you away if you're not the right person for me. See, you've been taught to hold on to him and to do whatever. No. If he ain't right for me, I want him to go. If he's not right for me. Yeah, me and short videos. Yeah. One of the girls I'm mentoring, she says, every time you say I'm gonna do that I'm not gonna be on here very long, she said, I laugh. She said, I laugh. But sis, you were designed to chase him away. 15 minutes, 2 hours ago. I'm supposed to be on the phone like this. And this is, I'm going to show you. God taught me a lot about relationships while just being in business. I literally chase away customers. Did y'all hear me on that? Because, see, most people think when you're in business, you're trying to secure the deal. No, not all money is good money. I chase away customers. There are some customers I get, and I'm just like, yeah, well, no, okay, well, this is going to be our price. It's going to be $1,500 plus this, and then we'll need this much time. You know why I do that? Because I already know, listening to that customer is going to be extremely difficult. They're going to be extremely difficult to please. It's not my job to secure them. My job is to talk to them. I get customers that, now, I need your email address. And then they send me stuff, and it's like they don't want to pay for it. They just they think I'm going to go do work for free. And then no. I send them an email back knowing they ain't going to place an order. Once I send them that email back, I send them an email. Oh, that's great. Okay. Some of them will. Some of them, I'm like, go place your order here. I'm not trying to hold them. If I wanted to hold on to them, you know what I would do? I would go design the logo or go do the work for them, do the book cover, do whatever they want me to do, and hope that they buy it. I did that in the beginning parts of business when I was first in business. 10 years ago? Yeah, about 10 years ago when I first started my logo company, I used to do logos for people, and then I put a watermark on it and pray that they buy it. They'll sit up there and tell me everything they wanted me to do to a logo. I did all that work, and then they had me making all these changes to their logo. I be going at the highs, the lows, the depths, the heights, the widths, and all that, doing everything that they wanted me to do on their logo, and they still didn't want to pay me. Still kept playing games. Folks would work the crap out of me for 2 weeks and then come up missing. They would work the crap out of me for 2 weeks. I got tired of that. I had to finally listen to God. I now require everybody to put something down. You got to put something down on this, baby. You want a custom design, 50% down before I even start work. You want me to publish your book? You pay me 100%. I don't take. You can pay. You publish in a book. You can make payment arrangements on my site, but I don't start working until I get 100%. If you're doing a custom design, 50% down, and then the other 50% once it's done. It's non-refundable. If you want a store purchase designs I've already created in my spare time, 100%. 100% down. You got to pay me 100%. These are systems. And trust me when I tell you, y'all need to hear this. Because being in business teach you a lot. I've had times, especially when I was new in business, where I needed money bad. And I had a customer sit up there like, listen, I don't want to pay you until I see it. I've had times where I had to tell them people, I'm sorry, you got to pay me first. And I knew that I was losing that customer or that potential customer. But I had to realize I wasn't just losing that customer. I was losing what this person was trying to build with me. This person was trying to get me to give. I'm the only one putting into it. They ain't putting nothing in. I'm the only one putting in. And then I'm hoping that they'll buy it in the end. Nope. Every single day. There isn't a day that goes by. That's right. 30% of deposit at the start. But there isn't a day that goes by that I don't get somebody who is, trying to do business with me. Every single day, I have somebody that's emailing me, calling me for business. When I wake up, it's 3 a.m. I'm going to wake up relatively late. When I wake up, today I got to go to the post office and you guys book off. But every single day, I have customers that email me or call me. Most of the time they call. I'm either calling them back or I'm answering their calls. Every single day, I deal with some people that I do business with, or we talk business. Other ones, I just go ahead and run off. Because they ain't trying to pay nobody. That's their mentality. They ain't trying to pay nobody. They'll make promises to you. They sound all good. They lie. I've been in business long enough to know when I first started off in business, man, I had folks that never paid me. They took off. They had me to design a logo. Thankfully, I had a watermark on it, but they took off. I remember one guy, I had his watermark. It was so light that you could barely see it. He started using the logo. I had to reach out to him and say, look, I'm going to sue you. Take my logo down. Pay me my money. You never did pay me the rest of the money. This guy had me to make like 45 changes to his logo. Had me to make like 45 changes to his logo. I learned a lot in business. When you come into a relationship and you're courting somebody, sis, you got to understand that quite naturally you're a receptor. So what happens in a relationship is everything you give way more than the guy. That's why you want to let him start off. He needs to give because he's the one that's going to be covering you. That means, and I'm not talking about give money. I'm talking about he has to give you his attention. For me, I'm always surprised at women who don't know a man ain't pursuing him. Like you pursuing him and he ain't pursuing you and you still talking about he the one. How the heck? He's Gary. He just be flirting with me at church. Sis, he flirt with everybody at your church. That's just a game he plays. He got low self-esteem, sis. Or he cocky. That's all. It's just a game he plays. You're not the only one. He flirts in your face, but he flirts with other folks around that church. Because a man who wants you, he pursues you. A man who wants you actually pursues you. There's no question. Any man that has ever wanted me, I've never had a question about. He pursued the crap out of me. I got men that are coming in my inbox now. But I ignore them. But I'm just saying. We give away all of that stuff. Because we want somebody to love us and somebody to treat us. If you want somebody to love you, you got to first learn to love yourself. If you want somebody to love you, I had to learn how to love myself first. But in business, I have learned a lot. I don't do business with everybody. Sometimes I'm driving, I get a business call. And I'm over there and I'm trying to, and I've had times where I nearly had an accident trying to answer the call. I had to stop doing that. I'm like, you know what? I get to a stop sign, a red light or something, I'll answer it. But if I can't get to it, it answers on the speaker on my phone. but in my car, but I have to find my phone. Sometimes it's in my purse or something. But if it's next to me, if I answer the call, I don't play games with people, guys. I don't sit up there and be on the phone trying to convince them to buy from me. You know why? In the business world, the more desperate you are, the more you're going to be taken advantage of. It's the same thing when it comes to dating. In the business world, if you're desperate for money, if you're trying to get a bill paid, or you think like that, man, the folks will take advantage of you. And they hear desperation in your voice. If they hear desperation in your voice, they'll sit up there and they'll be like, well, and then they'll start telling you their rules. They'll start telling you, no, I don't do that. I just sit back and I'd be like, okay, here go yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Okay. My price is this, and you have to start with that, and you got to do that. And I can tell when people don't want to pay me. They be like, so you require payment up front? Yes, ma'am. I require payment up front. Oh, and how much is your price again? And especially the cheap heads. You ain't got nothing cheaper than that. I don't waste my time. I don't waste my time. I said, no, I don't. I don't sit up there and be like, well, if you, no, I don't try to keep them around. No, I don't. I'm the same way with men. I'm not going to discount myself for no dude. I'm not discounting myself. You know why? God has already taught me my worth. That's what the single season did for me what it was supposed to do. No, I'm okay. I'm not, it's not, I don't need water. It's just my lips are dry. But the single season did for me what it was supposed to do. It helped me to become confident in my God. It helped me to rely on my God. It helped me to have confidence within myself that I didn't have. And I'm not talking about confidence in the flesh. It helped me to know my value. And now that I know my value, I'm not gonna do discount me. Oh, he's trying to get me out. He probably have to tinkle a little bit. Most of the time when he does that, he's gonna do a 3-second pee, if that. He just wants me off of here. I'm about to get off here anyhow because I was supposed to do 15 minutes and it didn't work. But yeah, he wants me to get off of here because he wants to hang out. Trying to see where his little behind went. Now he's back there staring in the back of my head. But the single season did for me what it's supposed to do. The single season is supposed to get you to the point where you become confident in your God, not in your flesh, not in your feminine wiles or your ability to get a man. The single season is designed, hear me, to break that concubine spirit off of you. That's what God wants with the single season. Break that concubine spirit off of you, that harlotry mindset off of you. It's to break that mindset off so that you can learn how to think and reason as a wife. The average Christian woman will never, ever get to the point where she becomes a wife. A lot of Christian women will never, ever. They will always be somebody's concubine or somebody's harlot because they never got delivered. And they out there dating everybody and they dog. Every time you look up, they on a date. I have the steak medium rare. I don't even know how y'all do medium rare though, but let me get the steak and a salad and a cup of water. No, I'll take that back. Because half of y'all, you gotta try to act like you ain't got no appetite when you go out on a date. Let me just get a salad and some water. Stomach over there. You get some salad and some water. Because you're too busy trying to impress somebody. Because you're still thinking with a concubine's mindset. You still waiting on an opportunity to prove yourself the same way those women went into King Xerxes' room. And they went up in there, got all this advice for their aunties and their mamas and all this other stuff in their head. Up in there, and the mama's like, look, he a king. He was with Vashti. He used to the most sedated women. Because how many of us know, a lot of times we think that a woman who's sedated don't know what she's doing. All right, come on. I grew up in the ghetto. I know how that is. We think that we got it going on. They telling the little girls, like, listen, King Vashti. And did y'all know Queen Esther was 14 years old when she got with the king? Esther was 14 years old. But I'm gonna let that sit there. But these women, and they were sending their daughters into the room. I mean, up into the castle. The husbands and what have you, they sending their daughters into the castle to. Okay, but they sending their daughters into the castle to go up in there and prove themselves to the king, knowing that their daughters will never get married. They're going to be a concubine if he don't choose them. Once you go up there, because he used to them sedity, them queens. But let mama show you something. You get him by his hand. You stretch his hands out over his head. That man that had all that and then some. He done had all that and then some. There is nothing you can do underneath this sun that man ain't already had, sis. And for those of you who feel like you're just going to go for the nerdy guy who ain't never really had a woman, and I'm going to lay it on him. You can pull it up on Google. They do the history on it. But I'm going to give me a nerdy one. For those of you who think I'm going to go get a nerdy one who don't have that much experience. I ain't got to worry about him. Because he don't have that much experience. I'm gonna put it on. And he a virgin, or he darn near a virgin. His experiences have been with little squeamish girls and all that other stuff. You gonna put it on him if you want to. And all I gotta just say is, do me a favor, make me the beneficiary on your insurance policy. If you gonna go out. Get yourself somebody that ain't got no experience, and you talking about putting it on him, you gonna end up in the trunk of that dude's car. Just make me the beneficiary on your insurance policy. That's all I ask. Tiffany Buckner, if you need some more information from me, then make me if you feel like you're gonna go out there and get somebody who ain't got that much experience, and because he's really mellow and nice, and he's got a really nice, and he's like, yes, ma'am. And you figure you're going to go lay him out. Go lay him out, sis. Just make me the beneficiary on your insurance policy and try to get $1 million policy. Because the likelihood of you surviving that relationship, you put it on somebody like that and try to get away from him if you want to. Try to get away from him if you want to. You're going to end up in the trunk of old boy's car. He's going to be eating sardines from a can in front of your house, crying. You try to get away from somebody like that, y'all better stop with these wiles. So I'm gonna get ready to get off of here. I'm gonna get ready to close it because I got a lot of work that I need to be finishing up on. And can we talk about how this generation? They are not. See, the fact that you think these men are sorry, what that tells me is that you haven't matured into the mindset where you can meet somebody who's worth your time. See, you're dating at the bottom. And if you date at the bottom, everybody at the bottom is crappy. And if that's where you're thinking, then what you're doing is you're in a region of thought. So you're dating all of these men who are pathetic. Y'all hear me when I tell you there are some God-fearing, demon-slaying men of God, but they hidden just like you are. If you're hidden in Christ, they're hidden too. They're hidden just like you are. They sitting around like, God, where's my wife? They see women too. They like, I would love to meet me a woman with a God. They hidden just like you are. That's why you don't see them. That's why you don't see them. What do you think that they see? Those God-fearing men that we all are like, what are they, God? What do you think they see? They like, man, I ain't number hoes everywhere. These folks call themselves Christians. They slapping it up, rubbing it down. I'm talking about they greasy. They sleeping with everybody. That's what they see. You know why? Because God wants them to find their wives. God wants them to find their wives. God wants them to see. Because in order for them to appreciate you, they got to know what's out there. That's what makes them appreciate you. They see hoes. But that's what makes them appreciate you. They appreciate you because you know what it says. When they come across you, you're different. You ain't up there. You ain't up there trying to bewitch them. You can live without them. You making your own money. You loving the Lord. You up there disciplined, learning to be more disciplined. When that man comes across you, I've learned this, even like with a lot of wives I know, a lot of women who are married to some God-fearing men. When the man come across a woman, he know that's for him. You know why? Because he done been out there, he done been with some hoes, like she said. He done came out with some stuff. He done seen some stuff out there. He done dated some narcissists. He done dated some Delilahs. He done been out there. He done seen a whole, like, yeah. You just telling me to get off. Just say get off of here, Tiff. But he done seen some stuff. That's why when he come across a woman who is disciplined and who loves the Lord, and that person who has enough self-worth to say, I don't have to sleep with you, I'm not gonna kiss on you. That's the reason why he knows from that date. He's just like, you know what? I know this is her. Let's end all that other stuff. I know this is her. That's the reason why his conversation is different. That's the reason why he doesn't say to you, let's just be friends and see where this goes. No, he says, look, I want to be clear. I like you. And I really like you, and I want to get to know you exclusively. I don't want, and I know we're new, and I know we can't go around talking about we this and that, but I'm just letting you know I like you, and I want to get to know you exclusively. That's probably within a week of you talking to him, because he sees your rarity. I'll give you guys a challenge. I'll give you a challenge. I want to prove this, and then I'll get ready to get off of here. Oh, that's okay. That's all right. I want to give you guys a challenge. Find 3 guys who are happily married. I'm talking about God-fearing men. And ask them, how long did it take for them? Even post it to your social media. If you posted to Facebook or Instagram, tag me. Say, how long did you know, guys, how long did you date your wives before you knew she was the one? The average man is going to tell you probably a week, less than a month. The average guy. So for those of you who on here who dating somebody is 3 months in and he still don't know, he know. Sis, he waiting on his Esther. He's just entertaining you. You're entertaining him in the time being. He's waiting on his Esther. Yeah, and it don't take him a year. If it take him a year, that's a red flag. Most men know within the first. Most men will tell you they know the first week they were confident, but the first month, or at minimum the first 3 months. I dare y'all to post it to social media. Tag me in it. Post it to social media and watch what they say. Say to the married men out there, how long was it before you realized your wife was the one? Ask them and watch what. When you come across a man who's unsure, it's because he's sure you ain't it. But if you're willing to be a concubine, concubines are there for entertainment. Then you're going to entertain him until he is. And it may take him years. So you may be his entertainment for several years. You may be sitting up there doing all of the stuff that a wife does. This is why at first you pull sex off the table. How many of you right now, I want you right now to make a commitment, pull sex off the table. Hands up. How many of you pulling sex off the table to marriage? Hands up. Throw your hands in the air and wave them like you just don't come. Let me see. Let me see some hands. Let me see some hands. How many of you can take it off the table? Take it off the table. You know, when you take sex off the table, what you're saying is, God, I believe you when you say that I'm worthy of being a wife. You're saying, I denounce the concubine spirit in the name of Jesus. Take it off the table. Take it off the table. We only got a few hands. Some of y'all still struggling over there. Some of you got somebody laid in the bed with you right now, got crust on your legs. Come on, take it off the table. It's okay. Repent and put him out. When he leave in the morning, don't let him come back. Take it off the table. Take sex off the table. Now, let's take it a step further. Take kissing off the table. Take kissing off the table. Let's take it a step further. Take it off the table. Know your worth. Let's take it even a step further. Let's try reading books. Read at least 1 to 2 books a month. Let's take it a step further. Let's go and start serving in our churches. Let's take it a step further. Let's make it a commitment to God that our husbands has to be saved, sanctified, filled with the Holy Spirit, and we ain't going for nobody who's double-minded. I don't want nobody between the world and the church. Half of the Christian women I talk to want somebody between the world and the church. Girl, I still want him to have them hands. Baby, you double-minded. Go sit down. You ain't ready. I still want him to have them hands, girl. I want my man to be this. If you still think like that, listen, if you want a Christian version of this, go sit down. You ain't ready yet. I'm trying to see if I can clear them up. If this is what you want, you ain't ready yet. And it's okay. If you're not ready, it's completely fine. It's completely fine. Let God get you ready. If that's what you want. If you want some guy, right, they want somebody sanctified and double-minded. They want somebody that been sitting up there, will cuss you out and then turn around and be praying at the same time. And anytime I see women who do like that, is because they're carnal and you're not ready yet. It's okay if you're not ready yet, but let somebody get you ready. If you want to be a wife, let somebody get you ready. Let somebody get you ready. I'm gonna come out here next week and I'm gonna launch that class. I'm gonna do a year's class of wife readiness. I'm probably gonna call it wife me ready or wife readiness or something. I'm gonna do a year's teaching, a year. I'm gonna come out and I'm gonna have y'all, a year of accountability, a year of getting ready. And I'm gonna tell, and if I do this class, I'm gonna have levels to it. Meaning, no, take that back, not levels. I'm gonna have you in there and I'm gonna tell you just like this. If I can't correct you, you might as well get out this class. If I can't tell you the truth, you might as well get out this class. I gotta be able to tell you, sis, you're not ready yet, because you dating everybody. Sis, your coochie ain't even healed yet, and you already out there trying to date. You need to go sit down somewhere. Yes, any class I do, I always have a replay video. So I'm gonna set it up next week. But I'm just trying to get y'all ready. I want to get your heads ready, because I know that you say, hey, I want to be married, I want to be a wife, I want to have this, and I want to have that. But many of you were raised to be concubines, to be the enemy. There's a certain level or a certain amount of information that it takes for you to become a wife. An absence of information is an abundance of perversion. An absence of information is an abundance of a perversion. So if you don't have that much information and you've never been taught to seek information, then what's going to happen is you end up thinking and reasoning like a concubine. And even though in your head you say you want to be a wife, you're still reasoning like a concubine. And so you end up like those women that went into King Xerxes' room, and the auntie said, listen, right before he's about to orgasm, slap him the Adam's apple with the back of your hand. Just slap it. They're going to make him pass out. He don't know what happened. That's not something that works. It's just me being silly, guys. So don't nobody be sitting up there talking about, so, oh, we can't wait for my boyfriend to wake up. But no, yeah, probably do that so you can go and break up. But I was just saying, y'all need to take the time out. You need to be healed. You need to be single for a season. You really need to be single. Some of you need to be really single. You need to go and build something, because you come in this class with me, I'm not going to just be teaching you. I want to see some fruit. What are you doing? Like, sis, go to a restaurant, go sit down and eat. Sis, what did you do? Go paint something. Go do something. Go build something. Go do something with yourself besides sitting around the house talking about I got to get my nails done, girl. I ain't got these things done in a minute. Oh, my gosh. No, go do something so that you can become a helpmeet. When a husband comes along, you have some qualifiable talents that he can utilize. My husband has 1,000 talents in me that he can utilize. He has a ton of talents in me that he can utilize. And then we can go in the bedroom. We can have all that. Right. A man will only treat you like you treat yourself. And if you treat yourself like a concubine, then you can't get mad that somebody gonna come along and treat you like one. And if you relying on the government and you come in this class, we're gonna break that. I may have you eating noodles, but I want you to go out here and I want you to stretch yourself. I'll say this and then I'm gonna close for real because I know I've been on here and I've been saying it. I got a relative. Um, I've been on him for years. He was getting a check. He was getting government assistance, Social Security, what have you. And anytime he would go out there and get a nope, I break the food stamp spirit. I want all that gone. I want it all gone. Because one of the things that I want you guys to do, it's okay to do that temporarily. But I want you to go out here and get a job, even if that job is paying you the same amount of money that you would have got in food stamps doing nothing. Did you hear it? If you're getting $600 a month in food stamps, and the only job that calls you is a job that's willing to pay you $600 a month to work for them, take the job. Let me tell you why. You can actually get promoted on the job, and it creates discipline. You become disciplined. You learn how to deal with opposition, and it also makes you hungrier for more. It makes you say, I don't want to constantly keep making $600 a month. I want to make $1,200. Then you're going to want more than that. That's what so yes, I would definitely stretch you. Right. If you can go without them, you stretch yourself. I refused whenever the opportunity came for me to get that stuff. I said no because I didn't want to tap into that. I didn't want to rely on the government. I don't want to be nobody's slave. I don't want to be looking up, okay, well, let me check my card. Let me check my card and see if the money there. Oh, dang, it didn't come. I didn't want to do that. I don't want to do that to myself, and I don't want to do that to my future. There's wealth. There are 64 people left on here. There's wealth locked up in every last one of you, male and female. It doesn't care if you right now laid in the bed next to a man, you know you ain't married to him, and you know what I'm telling you the truth. There's wealth locked up on all of us. God put it in there. Heaven has bestowed, or God has placed all of the wealth that we will ever have, or that we could ever have, is already on the inside of us. It takes somebody to come along and begin to pull that out of you. Because see, one of the misunderstandings that we have is that wealth is going to fall and that we're waiting on it. No, it's on the inside of you. But what keeps it, right, throw that car in the trash. You can't. What keeps it locked up on the inside of you is sin. Is whenever or idolatry. Anytime you are relying on the government, you begin to go into idolatry. You start relying on them. But whenever you learn how to sit up there and deal with the hardships, this is what makes you rich. I'm a problem solver, which means I have a lot of problems. I don't know if y'all heard that. Because I'm a problem solver, I have a lot of problems. I get problems dumped on me every single day because I'm a problem solver. But it sounds bad, but it's not bad. Because whenever you learn to become a problem solver, problems don't intimidate you. If this is blessing you, make sure you like this, because whenever you learn to become a problem solver, problems don't intimidate you. So people call me up every single day. As a matter of fact, somebody booked me for coaching. I got to make sure I get back with her. But people call me every single day to place an order. The problem is they don't have a logo. The problem is somebody got demons in them. They need them cast out, or they're dealing with suicidal thoughts and they want me to talk to them. I deal with people's problems every single day. In order for me to learn to deal with other folks' problems, I had to first learn how to deal with my own. Take the speck out of your own eye. I had to learn how to deal with my own problems. I had to stop looking at my problems like they wasn't making it, and start looking at it and say, okay, what's the solution? I think to myself sometimes when I'm driving, I say, what is the solution to accidents? I think like that. Like, what is it that I could create or that could be created that would eliminate accidents or eliminate fatalities? Because there's something out there. It just takes somebody that's willing to think. It takes somebody who's not using their brain to think about a man, to put their brain, or think about a woman, to put their brain into thinking of solutions. So I look at problems. If God shows you problems, it only means he wants to make you rich. He wants you to pull out your wealth. Because all a millionaire is All a millionaire is a problem solver. That's all a millionaire is a serial problem solver. A millionaire sits there, the problems that you don't want, the ones that you cry about and complain about, and you just be like, a millionaire. So does it mean we can't claim disability living allowance? Didn't we get problems to solve? I didn't want to be on benefits. I thank God for that. My back broken. I do that problem solving. Yeah, get off of it as fast as you can. That means right now, give yourself, if you're relying on it, give yourself 12 months. So what you should do is find a talent that you have that does not require you to use your back. You don't want to be a professional victim. See, a lot of times we get hurt, but there are ways to get around every disability. It's only a disability of the mind. It's never a disability of anything else. It's a disability is when you tell yourself you're unable. Like I said, this relative of mine, he was getting disability, and I told him, I said, listen, I said, stop letting the government dictate where you're going to live. Stop letting the government tell you this. Stop letting the government do that. Go get yourself a job and work. And every time he got a job and they paid him a certain amount of money, they would cut off his benefits and he would quit his job. Now he has been working probably 5 or 6 years and he let them cut off his benefits. And he said, Tiff, I'm really glad I did that. He said, because I'm making more money now than I would be getting in benefits, and he's more disciplined. You don't ever want somebody that's dictating what neighborhood you get to live in. Like for me, when I worked at Walmart, one of the things I used to see, and I never wanted to become, was those women on the rolling carts that were really overweight and they were getting disability. They sit up in the house, they rolling over stuff, and they just upset, and life is just, I never wanted to be that woman. Right. And it's so much stuff that we can do. People in other countries say we're crazy because they come over here and they like this right here. Y'all see my hair need doing. Somebody can come learn how to do this. Do you know how long it would take you to learn how to do this? Like crochet, this is crochet. For somebody to do a crochet, it would take, if you found somebody to teach you, it would probably take you an hour, 2 hours tops, if you know how to braid. It wouldn't take you no time to learn how to crochet, or you can watch a video. It wouldn't take you no time. The problem is we don't like learning curves. I don't like them. None of us like them. I hate dealing with learning curves. But because I've been dealing with it for so long, I know that that's just a part of the process. The beginning part of anything is just, oh God, I gotta figure this thing out. I don't like it, but I still have to do it. I don't like it. When I'm writing a book, I still have to deal with pressure. I've been finishing up these books and I have immense pressure because I'm been finishing these books and it's like I thank God for the business I'm getting, but I'm getting business galore coming over here and I'm having to do this. It's so much going on. But here's the thing. I love it. As frustrating as it can be, I love it because that means there's a demand for Tiffany. That means there's a demand for Tiffany. There's a demand for my gift. There's a demand for my talent. There's a demand. It would be a problem if there was no demand for me, or if I had no discipline. The reason the demand is for me is because God taught me to be disciplined. Meaning, somebody order a logo from me, I don't make them wait 4, 5, 6 weeks or 3 weeks. They get their logo back the same day. If they order custom design, they get it back in less than 3 days. I don't make people wait. That's discipline. Do I feel like doing the logo? No. I got to get back off of here now so I can go back to work. Do I feel like it? No. Because a lot of the work that I do requires, me learning as I go along. So I'm always having to engage this brain of mine, and sometimes I can get a headache in the midst of it. Sometimes I feel frustrated in the midst of it. But at the same time, I'm not like, I'm going to stop this because I don't like the way I feel. No, I'm like, I thank God for it. And all of the emotions that come with it, all the frustration. Amen. All that. Whenever you learn how to become disciplined, problems don't look like problems. They don't feel like problems. I want to learn how to make jewelry too. And you see that over there? That's been over there. That's a paint. That's a black canvas for painting. I got the paint and everything. I need something for my bedroom. From our bedroom wall, I decided I wanted to do some black and gold. I wish I had about white canvases now, but nevertheless, I'll keep them. I bought paint and all that other stuff, and I'm not gonna use it yet because I made a decision. After I got the paint in the mail, and I gotta order brushes and stuff, and I decided I was like, no, I'm gonna go all the way. Like I'm gonna order an easel as well. You know, the thing that you set the thing on. I need to order some tarps for my floor. And I decided, you know what? I could order it now. I can go ahead and do the painting now. And I'm confident that I will love it. I got to order a torch. I'm confident that I will love it if I do it now because I've watched some videos and I kind of feel like I got the gist of what I want done. It seems simple enough. Nevertheless, oh, thank you, thank you, thank you. Definitely translating. God bless you. Um, who is Dick Blick? But I want to learn as much as I can. So I got the paintings, I got this, and I was thinking the other day, I was like, okay, I'm gonna go ahead and do it. Then I thought about it, I was like, no, I want to do it the right way. I said I'm gonna wait till I'm gonna get me. I don't have the time right now because I have so many customer projects that I need to do. So I don't have the time. So I'm not going to try to invest into doing the painting just yet. But I'm going to get me some paintbrushes, a blowtorch, an easel, tarps, all that. Oh, awesome. I'm definitely going to check them out. Thank you. And I'm going to get it right. And listen, that's going to be added to my portfolio as soon as I figure that stuff out. I'm not trying to learn how to do the painting um, learn how to paint like pictures and stuff like that. That would probably be nice. But right now, I'm more into abstract. I want to learn some abstract painting because what I want in my bedroom is some really, really pretty abstract. But what I'm saying is, I don't limit myself. I want y'all to hear that. I don't limit myself. I don't limit myself. Now I could throw that together. I can go because I got the paint. I got everything that I need. And I'm pretty sure I got paintbrushes that I can use, or I can go to the store and get paintbrushes. But no, I want to wait till I have everything and I watch some more videos and I have the time. And when I have that, I can put my all into it. And I can create something that I can come on the internet and show y'all a picture. And then eventually I can get into painting, you know, and it's not something that I'm looking to become the next Mozart or anything like that. But I like to play with my gifts. I like to learn how to utilize all of my gifts. God has given us gifts, and God doesn't like it when we are throwing those gifts away. That's a gift. I'm pretty sure. I know when I look at that, I'm like, I know I'll do good. I know it's gonna look great. Oh, feminism, hypergamy, manipulation. I don't. Yeah, it's a lot of hurt. Okay, I'm doing biblical Hebrew, but neighbor harassing, anti-psychologists make people overweight. I am a sprinter going into, huh? I tried teaching English as a foreign language. Student loan better. Yeah, I try to stay away from student loans. But yeah, so in short, I'm gonna close from here this because I've been saying that for a minute. Go be gifted. Go tap into your gifts, guys. I love y'all, and I gotta get ready to get off of here. But go tap into your gifts. Don't be relying on people to take care of you. Don't be waiting on somebody to come and make life easier for you. Like I said, this is something that I do, and it may be therapeutic. It may not be something that I do to make money, but it may be something that's therapeutic to me. You know, I'll think about like what happens when I do get married. What if I, don't have any customers at any given time, and I'm just kind of because I do have times when I'm tired of writing, like right now, just like. But I do have seasons, times where like I've been writing so much that I'm like I don't want to write, yet. I want to take time off from it, and what happens during that time when I need something to do? Do I go up in there and be like to my husband, "What you doing?" No, and he's over there trying to work and he's trying to build. No, what do I do? It's something that I can do. It's something that's therapeutic. I'll say this. A lot of times you'll notice that a lot of racists, one of the reasons they live a lot longer than us as African Americans is because what we do is we eat our emotions. So a lot of times when we have nothing else to do, we just go eat. And so a lot of times we're unhealthy because of that. So a lot of these things that we learn how to do, these are outlets. That right there, I'm pretty darn sure is going to be an outlet. I was on TikTok the other day, and somebody made a bench out of wood blocks. Like they just got wood blocks. Thank you, Sister Lamanda. God bless you. They got wood blocks, and they got these little brick things. They got two 4x4s, and they got these little wood blocks or what have you. And they got concrete glue. They glued the wood blocks together, and the wood blocks have. Let me see if I can pull those up. Concrete blocks, not wood blocks, but concrete blocks. Let me see. Okay. There. No. Okay. Yeah. Okay. These. They made a bench. They bought a bunch of these, and they bought some 4x4s. Let's see if I can pull that up. They stained the 4x4. Used concrete. These. Let's see if I can pull it up. They bought several of these right here, and they straight up made a bench. Like they stained it. Them things are $12. Good guy. If I have made them things, I had to make one for me. Let's see. Wood block bench. I hope I saved that video on TikTok. But they made a bench out of that thing, and I'm trying to see if I can find anything that even remotely looks like it. And that thing was nice. Okay, here's one that's kind of like it. Yep. Look at here. Look at here. And this is something that we can make as females. You see that? Made a bench out of wood blocks. All they did was go down to Home Depot, got some wood blocks, got some, and then they bought. Now this one here, they didn't stain. They just painted their wood, and you can paint this probably with some spray paint or something like that. And all they did was use concrete glue to glue that stuff together to create a frame, and then they just put the boards right through it. You see that? Trying to get it to clear up. Wait. There we go. You see that? I said, I'm going to make me one. I said, I'm going to make me one. Now, this type of stuff, these are talents. These are skills that I'm just tapping into. I'm not going to make them to sell them. I'm not trying to make that to sell it, because obviously that's going to be relatively heavy. All that. 9 times out of 10, if I do make this, which I am going to make it, whenever I do make it, I'm going to probably have the stuff delivered to my house. I have the wood blocks and the stuff like that, and I just got to find a spot. But the point that I'm trying to make to you guys is this: I'm learning. I don't limit myself. I'm not just a logo designer and a book writer and a teacher and all that other stuff. I learn everything I can learn. I learned everything. I looked at that. I was on TikTok. I said, man, I'm going to learn how to do that. That look easy. I can make that, but I'm not looking to make money off of it. Now, when I do it, I can, if I ever have a time where I'm needing money, I could do it to make money. I was saying that to my brother one day. I told him, I said, get into photography. When I was living in Florida, I said, look, if I decided I needed some money when I was in Florida, I was like, I need to make $100 because I want to do this or I want to do that. I said, I would just put an ad on Craigslist and say, hey, we'll do your photography. And I said somebody would always contact me, and I end up on the beach doing a photo shoot on somebody. I said I would do a cheap photo shoot on people just to get the money up. If I don't want to spend money that's in my account, I can utilize one of my gifts and say, okay, I'll give you this. For my birthday this year, the camera that I want is, and I'm gonna get it. You know, I'm not telling nobody to get it for me, so don't think that because I'm gonna get it. But what I do, here it is right here. Come on. I just hit add the card by accident. I think that's prophetic. Oh no, it didn't. Okay. It's the camera I want to get. Hold up. Let's see if we can get it out. I'm getting that for my birthday. August, I'm getting it. But what I do is, if I decide I'm going to get that camera, what I do is typically I utilize a gift. So if I say, okay, I don't want to mess with money in the account, you know, because I'm trying to be wise, and I say I want to make the $1,200 up, I do a logo sale. Or I can go do some of them benches. That's the reason God gives you giftings. You can tap into a gift. You can tap into a gift. Thank you. Yes, I've seen the pictures that it takes, and I'm like, I'm in love with that camera. I'm in love with that camera. But I can tap into my gifts. So anytime I make a decision that I will get a used one, but I just don't be trusting that too much. Because I be thinking that, they're going to mess around and give me something that don't work, and I'm going to be mad. I'm going to wish I had went ahead and spent that extra $300. Yeah, I heard Sony was good. A lady introduced me to it, and now there's this brother in Christ of mine who has the Sony camera. He has the A6300, and it's really good. So I figured might as well go up $200 and do the 6400. And might as well go up $200 and do the 6400, and I'm gonna get that for myself as a gift. But these are things. I'm telling you this because to my sisters, and then we're gonna close 110% now this time. But I'm telling you this because you see how I utilize my gifts to get this camera for myself. Imagine when I get married and my husband's birthday is coming around, and he has something that he wants, and it's like $5,000. See, I can utilize my gifts. I'm not waiting on a paycheck. I'm not waiting on, I get paid on Thursday. I'm not waiting on that. I'm not waiting to say, let me call a bank and see if I get the direct deposit yet. Did that stimulus check come? Anointed fire? Oh, Cash App, give me a second. It's one word. But I'm not waiting thank you, sis. But I'm not waiting on some guy to come along. Like when I do get married, I can tap into my gifts. My husband don't have to sit up there and be like, well, baby, we trying to budget and let's just be smart about this. I'd be like, okay. And I know grown man sitting up there looking at something that's like $5,000. He getting it. Because you know what? A sister would be sitting up here like, okay, which gift do I want to utilize? Which gift I want to utilize? I'd be out there making them benches for folks and be like, listen, these benches are this much money or what have you. He'd be like, baby, what you doing? Worry about yourself. Worry about yourself. Right, get him a boat. And I can go out there and I can get it because I can utilize a gift. That's the reason. That's the purpose of your single season. That's the reason for your gifting. Sis, that's the reason for your gifting. And so when you decide, like right now, for those, I'm still here. I know it's sad. It's sad. But it's like right now, for those of you who, your mothers, right? And you got kids and you're just like, your son comes up to you and he says, Mom, I need some stuff from school or what have you, or we got a school trip. And I want to be able to, go, I want to have this for the school trip. You don't send your kids, because I was a cheerleader. And a dancing doll. And I remember having to go on trips. Right. So 25 benches at 2. I love it. And that's the millionaire's mindset. When you do the math and you calculate it, you can do it. And then you make it up in your mind. Because if I want to sell 25 benches at $200, I make it up in my mind to sell 100. That way I know I get the 25. Because if you make it up in your mind to sell 25, you kind of lose your zeal. But if you make it up in your mind to sell 100 of them, I'm gonna sell 100. I'm gonna market it until I sell 100. Dude, getting the court, he gonna get whatever it is. And so my kids can come up to me and say, "Mom, oh, no, I was telling y'all a story. When I was a cheerleader and a dancing doll, I used to have to get on the bus, and I know my parents didn't have money. And I remember times being on the bus and not having food. Um, thank you. But I remember getting on the school bus and watching the other cheerleaders. They would stop at Burger King, and I just remember that feeling. That was the lowest feeling in the world. That I didn't have any money to get me something to eat, and I would be hungry. I would be hungry watching them get back on the bus. They like, "You getting off the bus now?" And watching them get back on the bus, and that food used to smell so good. And they sit up over there just eating, and I couldn't eat nothing because I didn't have the money. Or if I had money, it was like $1. It was enough to go to the game and go to the concession stand and get a pickle and a drink or something like that. But I didn't have any money because I would never do that to my kids. I would never do that to my kids. So I'm saying that to say your gift will make room for you. Thank you, Lakia. God bless you, sis. Thank you. But your gift will make room for you. What I want you guys to do is to learn how to tap into those gifts. Learn how to tap into those gifts. Learn how to tap into every gift that God gives you. And that way God can open you up to be a blessing. And that way, whenever your husband does need anything, you can tap into a gift. You can just say, okay. He can be sitting up over there talking. I did that when I was married. And when I was married, I learned to tap into those gifts. I sat back, and whenever he went to talking about, oh, I did this, and we gotta try to figure out how to pay this, I was like, I got you. I was to help me for real. I was like, I got you. He was like, I remember the car we need $1,400 to fix a car that had broken down. And he was panicking. He was like, I think I'm going to have to catch a cab because Uber went out then. He was like, I think I'm going to have to catch a cab because the car did it. And I was like, well, how much is it? He was like, $1,400. I said, I got it. He was like, you got it? I said, I got it. I got it. He was like, where'd you get it from? I said, dude, I work. I work for myself. I work. And I was able to give him that $1,400, $1,470 if I think right. I was able to put that $1,470 on the car and get that car fixed. That's what it means to be a help me. That's what it means to be a blessing. All right. So let me get off of here, guys. I love y'all. I'm going to talk to y'all soon. I'm trying to see if he's going to get up. All right. Talk to y'all later. Bye-bye. He didn't get up. All right. Love y'all. Bye.